on. I think that did it.
Yeah.
We'll see. It's awkward silence, right? I have a presentation that we're going to follow loosely, okay? I've got 2 hours. We were talking about things like restroom breaks. Let's skip the restroom breaks, because restroom breaks can take 20 minutes. We'll do this kind of like a TED Talk, right? You guys watch that? TED Talks? If you got to go, get up and go. Mega is recording it, so if you miss anything, like, if you miss anything, you can go back and get the few minutes that you missed. Yeah, it's coming on, right? I feel like we should have backup music while we're waiting on this. There we go. Also, questions. I do not want this to be like just straight up me talking presentation. If I say something and you go, what the heck did he just say? Like, raise your hand and stop me. And I may say, hold on, let me finish this thought, or I may stop right then, but I will address it, because I feel like the best way to cover this, these topics and these things we're going to talk about is to go really fast, which I'm going to do, and sometimes I don't realize how fast I'm going, okay? So just to get an idea, who here is selling on Amazon right now? Who's not selling on Amazon? Wow, so we're like 50-50. That's great, because what we're talking about can be used for very experienced sellers. It can be used for people that have been doing this 10 years, and it can be also a great place to get started, okay? I can't cover everything. I can't cover listing optimization and advanced PPC and all that stuff. We're looking at literally just the most difficult problem that people have, which is, what the heck do we sell, right? Everybody agree that's selling on Amazon is one of the hardest things to do? So let's go over some of that stuff. Again, just stop me when you need to. I don't know why this thing is so like weirdly shaped, but that's all right. You can't read because it's too small. So, quick history about me. I started sourcing with the U.S. government. That's how I got involved in logistics and sourcing. So I was buying Russian dump trucks and sending them to Afghanistan, and buying diesel generators from the UK, sending them to Kenya. I was doing all sorts of crazy stuff. And I accidentally got started in e-commerce. I never knew that you could sell on Amazon. I had these awesome wholesale accounts and you guys know what Craigslist is? Like, I put an ad on Craigslist that said, I need someone to teach me how to sell on eBay. And I expected this like young college kid to walk in. Instead, this like 70-year-old bald guy walks in, looks at my catalog and says, you need to sell on Amazon. And I thought he was crazy. And within like 6 months, we'd done over $1.5 million in sales, and it was awesome. But that was mostly wholesale. So I realized, hey, we need to start getting into private label, like this whole concept of private label, because at any time, my suppliers could cut me off and I'm hosed, right? And if I use an expression that's like too American, I'm sorry. Right? I'm from Alabama, and we have our own vocabulary down in the southeast, so just, I apologize in advance. But I knew I'd be hosed if I got shut off from my suppliers, so I had to start looking at this whole private label thing. Well, of course, I did what everybody teaches to do for private label, right? Go to Amazon, find what someone's selling well, let Jungle Scout tell you it's going to be a winner, go to Alibaba, source it, and make $1 bazillion, right? My first experience with Alibaba in China, I know I was dealing with the Chinese mafia. I know I was. It was crazy. It was nuts. But I started using my own connection instead of Alibaba, and I was sourcing stuff. I was shipping stuff. My friends would start telling me, hey, can you help me find this? Can you help me ship this? And that became the company Hickory Flat. So I founded a company co-based in Shanghai and in the U.S., and we had sourcing agents and all that cool stuff. What I loved about that company was helping sellers is not only was I selling online, and I was screwing up, and I was having successes, but we helped hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other sellers, right? So we were bringing in several containers a week of other people's stuff. So I got to see what was working and what wasn't. I got to talk to sellers constantly. I got to find out what people were succeeding with and what people were failing with. So it gave me this really kind of cool experience. I had, like I said, accidental successes, a lot of really big failures, but I got to see a whole lot of successes, probably 100 successful ASINs launched. And that's given me this kind of concept of what the biggest problems I see in product selection are. The first one is too much dependence on software that cheats the system, right? Think about who we're listening to. Every time we get on a webinar with Greg Mercer and Jungle Scout. Anybody use Jungle Scout? Anybody personal friends with Greg Mercer? He doesn't like me. And here's the thing about Greg, is even he knows that the methods don't work anymore, but he has to show that they work in the webinars so he can sell his software. Because we all buy software because it's going to give us a magic ticket, right? And there's other softwares out there that sometimes do this too, But it's easy for us. Like, it's easy to look at that, buy into the dream, buy the software, and it's going to tell us what's going to win. So one of the biggest problems I see is definitely that we have dependence on that software. Emotion. Have any of you ever invented a product? I did. And I love that product. Nobody else did. It was a horrible product. It was like the worst thing you can imagine. And I spent like several weeks and months trying to develop this thing and spent all this money getting this produced because I was absolutely sure everybody was going to love it. I didn't use objective data. Like, I didn't use keyword search volume. I didn't use tests to find out. I was emotionally tied to this product. And I sunk tons of money into this thing because I thought it was great. And I've still got boxes of things sitting in a warehouse somewhere that nobody wants. I can't give them away, right? So we get tied to those products. You guys know what the expression doe eyes is? Doe eyes is the look that my wife has when I walk in the door at night. She gets all doughy-eyed. Look at that guy. Like, we get doe eyes, we fall in love with these high volume targets, right? We pull up other people that are selling this gizmo or gadget, and they're selling a bazillion of them a month, and they're making, they're selling $250,000 a month, and we think, holy crap, look at this, we can do this, right? We get so excited about volume that we forget about profitability. And we also forget all these other little nuances of volume, like how many of those products did they give away at a loss? How many products did they give away in general? How much black hat stuff are they doing? So as people are selecting products, I see this all the time. People falling in love with volume instead of actual profitability and not trusting the system. I do this all the time. Like, Megla has accused me many times of being disorganized. It's not that I can't be organized. I got a lot of crap going on, right? Because I get so excited about stuff. And what I see people doing a lot of times is chasing this shiny object. You know, they're getting that shiny object syndrome. We're running around chasing the new thing and this great thing when there are systems in place, and they might just take some time, right? The methods that we teach, like in my mastermind program, I have students that will go 3 or 4 weeks without finding a product, and they're beating their heads against the wall. Tim, it's not working, it's not working. I say, please don't stop, keep going, keep going, keep going. And if they get distracted and run off and shooting from the hip, you know, the good old American expression there, they don't find these products. But those that stick with it, like I've got a student right now that started 4 months ago. He has 82 products right now in his testing and launch pipeline. 82. And all of them are probably 100% ROI. It's amazing, right? But if we don't trust the system, we fall into these traps of not being able to find a product. So that all sounds great, right? Makes sense. Too easy. So what's the plan? Find unique products and get to the market first. All right? Sounds easy, right? How do we do that? We're going to talk about that. The other one is we have to sell a product that is not dependent on position. How many of you have launched successful Amazon products by doing giveaway and launch hacks and all that stuff? Right? A lot of people. Most of you aren't going to raise your hand and say, I did that. But a lot of people do that. And they have to do it because if they're not on the first page of a saturated product, they're not going to sell any. Right? So people are constantly looking at products and saying, I can make money on this as long as I land on page 1. Right? We're not going to do that. We're going to find products that are not dependent on a position, page location position, because they're saturated. So how do we do that? My boy the Yeti. Have any of you heard me talk about this on a podcast? I suspect a few of you have. I've been talking about this furry guy for a few years, right? And I accidentally found this principle, and it made a lot of sense, and it changed everything about the way that I find products. And that big revelation came from the fact that we can find Yetis, we can find these mythical creatures, these mythical products that everybody says don't exist, but they do. Anybody seen this brand before? Yes? This is interactive. Yes, no, yes. All right. So, I know that this screen is widened, so this guy looks huge, but he is still fat, all right? He's just not quite that fat. But the story of these coolers, these are some guys down in Texas, down in the southern part of the U.S. It's super hot, and they love to go fishing, right? And they go out on this boat all day, and they need to keep their ice cool, and the ice melts halfway through the day. So they created these coolers. Have any of you seen these coolers? They're like ridiculously expensive. I was one of those suckers that they came out, they're $500, and I'm like, I gotta get one. And I told my wife, I'm like, it'll change society if I don't have one. So I bought one. And they're amazing. Like we go on vacation, and I can put ice and cold food in that thing, and it keeps ice in there for days, right? Really, really amazing. But you see these little rubber latches? It's a little soft rubber latch that closes it. The U.S. government in about 2015 made it extremely hard for U.S. suppliers to make rubber. all right, because the Environmental Protection Agency and all that stuff, they made the cost of rubber go through the roof. So what happened is, the Texas boys sent some of their engineers or product engineers to China, right? Go find us a supplier just for these latches. We'll make the rest of the US, but we need just those latches. And they do like I do. They're killing time, they're jet lagged, they got a couple days to kill. They go to these markets, and they end up finding on a bottom shelf this bad boy, stainless steel tumbler. I said Yeti, and some of you were like, oh, what's talking about? But everybody's seen one of these before, right? Like they've taken over the world. Those are the two models of them. They made a crap ton of money off these. Who knows this brand? Tervis. This is a brand that's really big in the US. They make these acrylic cups that are double walled too, right? So you see the shape, you've got the 30 ounce, the 20 ounce, you've got the 20 ounce, the 30 ounce. I don't know why the Google image that pulled up, this one says, I love butt drugs. I promise that's completely random. But you pull up Tervis Tumbler on Google, that's what pops up. But what happened was, these have been selling in the US for like 30 years, right? And they're awesome. They've got that double-walled membrane in them so that your hands don't burn or it doesn't leak and all that stuff, or sweat when you have cold stuff in it. And I say that the creation of that Yeti cup was turning the Tervis dingo-proof, right? Because there's this guy in Australia who is selling these, and he has a camping goods store. And he decides, I want to make it tougher. So you know what he does? He takes one of the 20 ounce, one of the 30 ounce, and he sends it to Guangzhou, China, where they make stainless steel, and says, can you make me a steel version? And they did. They just replicated the size, they replicated the style, they made it in stainless steel. That was, let me do my math now, 17 years ago. 17 years ago. This stupid cup has been sitting on a shelf in China for 17 years, right? Because that supplier put them on the markets. And the guy in Australia, who is, by the way, all Americans think that Australians look like this. All of you probably think that Americans look like this, so it's okay, it's fair, right? So here's my point. The Yeti guys did not invent something new. They didn't create it, they didn't design it, they didn't drastically alter another product. They literally just got off their butts, started looking around for something that had been laying around for a long time or was new in production that just needed to be made. It's not patented. The Yeti company even tried to sue all these other knockoff companies for patent infringement when they filed for a patent on the double-ringed seal in the lid. And they're like, oh, it's patent pending. No, the laws and courts in the US threw all that out. There's no patent for this thing. That's why the Yeti is still out there, but Walmart sells a version for like $6, right? They didn't drastically produce it or change anything. They didn't design it. This is like gold for us, right? This is what we need to find. And I would attest to the fact that there are hundreds of thousands, if not a million, of these Yetis laying around out there. So how do we find them? All right? These guys, the Yeti guys, are walking around and found them sitting on a bottom shelf in China. We get that. How do we find that? What does that look like and where do we find them? I'm going to start covering a lot of ground here. Anybody have any question about just the Yeti principle, so to speak? You know, the fact that we just need to find these things that are not patent protected, that are easy, that are simple. We just have to find them. Everybody good with that? Everybody buy into the concept at least? Because if you don't, you're not going to like the rest of this. So everybody just say yes. That makes it a lot easier for me. All right. We usually do not find these products on Amazon. Anybody know why? Amazon is slow. Amazon is usually 18 months behind everything, right? So by the time it's on Amazon, the opportunity may have already passed, right? Also, if it's on Amazon, we're probably going to find it on Amazon because someone's doing big sales. We don't cruise around Amazon and find something that someone's sucking it up at. You know, all these software tools find the successes, and if it's already success, we may be in a little bit of trouble. And there are on and offline places that we find these products. Do you guys use Pinterest? Is that a Singaporean thing? No. All right. For those of you that have been living under a rock and don't know what Pinterest is, this is what Pinterest is. It's a magical portal that my wife has on her cell phone. And when she lays in bed at night, keeping me up, she's literally tapping on the screen on all the things that she likes. That's it. That's like the short version of Pinterest, right? They run a few ads now. But literally, it is just a place to put images and let the masses tell you what they like. That's exciting. Pinterest is one of the top 5 search engines in the English language. Because it does more search transactional, or search transactions every day than almost everybody. The top 5 search engine in the English language, and people are literally searching things and tapping a button. What does that mean? We know what people want. Do you guys get how important that is? Amazon's 18 months behind. Pinterest is right freaking now. I can spend days going around on Amazon trying to figure out what do people want, what are people going to buy, and looking at products that people are selling. I can spend 20 minutes on Pinterest and find something that's not on Amazon. Or that may be on Amazon, but it's like one listing so far down the indexing that we'd never find it anyway, right? But it could have search volume. Pinterest is amazing. 30 minutes on Pinterest, you can do it. It would take you 12 hours to do on Amazon itself. Also, Pinterest has, they used to show you the pin numbers on the actual pins themselves, and they quit doing that. You actually have to click in. But you can see, based on search results, what's popular, because they want the most popular items to come up. Not just historically popular now. So if I type in glittery cell phone case in Pinterest, the top search results are what is trending the top right now. So I can look across those first 20 listings and know what everybody is liking for glittery cell phone case, right? Etsy. I know you guys don't have Etsy here, right? You can't buy from here. Do you have Etsy here?
Yes.
Whoa, that's amazing. What is Etsy? I define Etsy as the market where, like, back to American expressions, like a hillbilly in his overalls sitting on a flipped over bucket in his garage whittling something out of wood. This is where they sell that stuff, right? That's how Etsy started out as a marketplace for like crafts and like stay-at-home moms who wanted to sell. In the US, there was this craze a few years ago where when you had a new baby and you want to take their picture, you had to put a bow on them that's like this big, like really stupid. My sister sold mountains of those big, giant baby bows on Etsy. This is where you go. So what does that mean? Etsy is usually full of products by people that are looking at Pinterest, right? These 18 months ahead of Amazon. This is like the brand new stuff. It's simple to make products. If I can make it sitting in my garage in some overalls like a hillbilly making this thing out of a piece of wood and my tools in my garage, we can make those things in mass production quantities, right? Like that's easy. So everything on Etsy is easy to produce, but it's 18 months ahead. What else does it do? It categorizes products for us. If I type in glittery cell phone case, the search results are going to be the top ranked cell phone cases. We can look at it and go, oh, there's different designs. We can go back over to Amazon, type in glittery cell phone case, and if those same things don't show up, we know that we found what's popular on Etsy way before it's going to be popular on Amazon, right? Another cool thing about Etsy is reviews. We can read the reviews. Now, Etsy doesn't create reviews per product, they create reviews per seller, but the sellers are usually small. So my sister, who did the giant baby hair bows, right? All of her listings were underneath her seller account, which had the reviews, but they're all the same product. She's not making all sorts of stuff. So if I want to read her seller reviews, I can get feedback on that. I can also see the number of reviews and correlate that to how many stupid giant head bows she's selling. Like if she has 2,500 reviews in 6 months, and the average review rate is 3%, how many of those hair bows did she sell? A mountain, right? So we find stuff on Etsy all the time that has a lot of reviews, that the search rank is really, or the search results, the search placement is really high on page 1, and they're not even on Amazon. I'll make a note for myself. So I'm going to come back to this. Is this a dry erase marker? Okay, because I usually grab a permanent marker. I'm making this note for myself because I'm going to come back to this. I don't want to spoil it. I go to Ibu, China all the time. They have big tile floors that are all glossy and polished up. And we walk around, we pull products off shelves and catalog them with dry erase markers. And I did that once with a permanent marker. I'm in this shop and I pulled on like 20 products. And I'm with a group of like 15 people. I'm teaching them how to do this. I'm like, yeah, you just write it. And I do all this right. And I stood up and I went to wipe it off and went, oh crap. The shop owner was not happy. Anyways, all right. Are subscription boxes big here? All right, this is a very American thing. This is me being too lazy to research anything. I let companies tell me what they're going to send me. It's really big. It started off in cosmetics. And what these subscription boxes would do is they'd hit my wife with a Facebook ad. They'd say, for $39 a month, we'll send you the best cosmetics. And she pays $39 a month, and they send her a box of crap. Like it's just all these probably blowout like liquidation cosmetics, but she loves it. She loves the experience of opening a box and wondering what's in it. A couple years later, I bought into one. It's called Bespoke Post. It's like guy stuff. It could be like beard accessories to like hammers to like cigar smoking accessories, right? And every month it's just a box full of surprises. But it's a really big business in the US. It is freaking huge. And what's amazing about these subscription boxes is they have to be cutting edge. They have to have the top trending products, the most cutting edge products that are also in demand. Otherwise people just unsubscribe to their boxes. So what this means is these subscription box owners are spending a mountain of money in research and development. They're figuring out what we need to know, which is what's popular, right? Subscription boxes, the problem with them is they're few and far between. Like they're all scattered all over the internet. Until I discovered this website, cratejoy.com. It is a launch platform for subscription boxes. So you can go over to cratejoy.com and find a bazillion subscription boxes. Go to their websites and see every month what they're selling. It's amazing, right? I can go to CrateJoy, spend 30 minutes and find products that are trending somewhere that aren't even on Amazon. I also love non-sales platform items, all right? Anybody in here do any blogging? Usually like one person. I'm going to pretend somebody raised their hand. Okay. Sir, they raised your hand. When you blog, what's the purpose of your job? The purpose of these bloggers is to get people to land on their website. That's how they get paid. They get paid by traffic to their website and people advertise on it. How do you get traffic to your website? You have to have something compelling. You have to have something that people want to see. You have to have something that people want to read about. How do you do that? You research constantly. So these bloggers, their entire day is research for 7 hours what people want to see on my page, write for 1 hour. That's it. They're doing all the research for us. And there are a lot of blogs like life hacks. You guys ever read those? I get like sucked into these Facebook clickbait thing, you know, the top 30 life hacks, and it's the stupidest stuff you've ever seen. It's like, take this simple pet toy and turn it into a light bulb. You know, like some weird thing that fixes a problem. It's cheap and easy to produce, and it's usually very simple, right? That's like the holy grail for Amazon products for us, right? So I can cruise through life hack blogs and find all sorts of stuff that people are just making, just these random products, right? And get these product ideas. Yes, we have a hand. Woo! All right, go for it.
We can ask questions.
Yes.
So life hacks, I think I also like that. And then they have got crazy creative stuff in there. But would people be looking for it? They probably wouldn't know about the existence of.
You mean looking for the product on Amazon?
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
We absolutely will. Because yes, do you guys want to see what my first invention was?
Yeah.
That I told you about? Yeah. All right, let's get sidetracked. Let's do this. Hold on. All right. So I'm on Pinterest. Sometimes I misspell that. And here's what I did. I was on a life hack blog. And I'm cruising around this life hack blog, and I find, let me do this instead. Cruising on the life hack blog, and I find this. It's a book modem cover. Because, you know, in the US, we're really particular about having that, like, you know, perfectly beautiful decorated house without electronics. You can't see electronics. And what do you do to your router, your modem? You got to put it in a central location. You can't cover it up, so it's like the ugliest thing in your house, right? So I'm cruising around Pinterest. I'm sorry, not Pinterest. Life hack blogs. And I find, why did it change the images? Router cover, let me try this. This is the picture that changed my life. So I find this thing. So all they did is they ripped the cover off of a book and covered the router. It's freaking genius, right? Like, how amazing is that? And I'm looking at this thing on Pinterest. This is to answer your question, I promise. And I'm thinking, this is amazing. Like, I can make that. So do you guys want to see what that looks like? This is my invention. So literally, I found a factory in China that makes like fake books. We did some homework and made sure that like we were using glue that didn't affect the Wi-Fi signal and the power of it. We made sure it was big enough that that thing could circulate air because we don't want those things catching on fire and burning people's house down. It's usually bad for business, right? And I made like 4,000 of these things. That was an MOQ. Check this thing out. How cool is that? Like, this is pretty slick, right? Look, it's on wirelessroutery.com. Like, all sorts of people are selling this. Oh, that's an eBay thing. Like, that's pretty sweet, right? Here's the problem. Nobody wanted it. Because nobody knew what to call it, right? So even if it's the greatest thing in the world, Amazon is specifically built for buyer intent. People go specifically to Amazon with an intent to buy something. So to your point, yes, you can get yourself in trouble here if we're trying to sell a product. Now, what I had to learn after my Hi-Fi, wasn't that a great name too? Hi-Fi? Awesome.
Yeah.
After that debacle, what I found out is that we don't sell products, we sell keywords. Okay? I'm going to drill that into your heads over the next hour and a half. Sell keywords. So, as long as we find a product and we can attach a keyword to it, we're money. But yes, sometimes you find stuff in here, nobody, if they knew about it, they might want it, but they might never find it. Who uses Helium 10? Friggin' love this software. If you don't have it, get it. I'll give you a promo code for 50% off. Like, it's amazing. They have this new tool called Black Box that is one of the scariest things I've ever seen in my life. Have any of you used this tool? All right, have you used the new keywords version? The new tab that opened up its keywords? Holy cow, it's amazing. So Bradley Sutton, he's like the training guy for Helium 10. He calls me up at like 11 p.m. one night. I'm on vacation. I'm like, what do you want? He says, you got to get on a Zoom call. I said, I can't, I'm on vacation. He said, you got to get a Zoom call. I get on a Zoom call with him. He said, we released this software today. Check it out. He starts demoing it for me, and all of my products start showing up. I'm like, Bradley, turn it off. Like, how do we hit the delete button on this software tool? But what was happening is they've created a tool that finds products that are in demand with low competition. Right? It's amazing. So I won't get too much into it. There's like mountains of free information on this tool. But if you're not using the Black Box tool, the Keywords edition, and if we have time, I'll show you that today, you need to be, because it's an amazing place to find those Yetis. Kickstarter, Indiegogo, crowdfunding. These people are masters at research because it's not easy. Like, you don't just throw something on Kickstarter and get rich. You have to do these massive campaigns, right? You have to have mountains of Facebook ad traffic and Instagram traffic and influencers and bloggers. To launch a Kickstarter campaign that's going to raise $150,000 US, you've probably got to spend $20,000 or $30,000 US. So you're doing your homework. So what does that mean? The Kickstarter launchers really do a lot of research. And then they tell us all about it, right? If I find an amazing product on Amazon, am I going to tell the whole world about it? Crap no. But these Kickstarter morons do. They're like, I found an amazing product. Look at everybody, buy this thing, right? And they're giving us all the details and all the information and all of their research. And usually, it's not IP protected. Now, occasionally you get something that is patented. Please be careful. Like, if you see something that's crazy on Kickstarter, Google that name plus the word patent and find out if anything pops up in patent directories. All that stuff's online now, you can find it. Even if it is, what about a niche indicator? Maybe it indicates a niche. Let me give you an example. The Yeti Cup, okay? Let's pretend, we know it's not, let's pretend the Yeti Cup is patented, okay? And they launched on Kickstarter. We show up to Kickstarter, we find this amazing cup, it's awesome, everything's great, it's patented, crap, I can't sell it. Do you know what the second most profitable Yeti-related product ever sold on Amazon was? A handle. It is a stupid round ring with a handle that slips up the bottom of that cup. They sold mountains of these things. The first guy that started selling these Yeti handles, he owned the market for like 18 months before anybody even saw what he was doing. Yeah. He was selling like 650 units a day back in 2017. He was selling it for $14.99. His cost was 70 cents. Whoa. Landed at Amazon FBA was $1.10. Airshipped. He made a lot of money doing that, right? So even if, for argument's sake, the Yeti had been patented on Kickstarter, we can still find these niche opportunities, accessories for those things, right? And like I said, they show us everything. They're advertising it. So go to Kickstarter, go to Indiegogo, go to any of those crowdfunding places. Look around and see what's happening. If you can't find a specific product, look for niches. There's all sorts of niches that are developing on Kickstarter way before anywhere else. Physical places. Have any of you been to ASD in Vegas? I know you've been there. Our star student. Good job, Megla. Yay, Megla's did. All right. So ASD is just an example of a huge trade show. They have it twice in Vegas. The one in March is the biggest. Every brand, every seller, every wholesaler goes there, fills up this huge convention center, and shows us what they got. What do I love about these retailers and wholesalers? Is they are ahead of the Amazon trends. They're ahead of them. They're 16 to 18 months ahead. So what I can do is I can walk around this market and find stuff that's trending well before it's trending on Amazon. Who can tell me trivia? And gonna get a little bit of going on here, a little conversation. What is right now the most popular mythical creature related to Amazon products?
Unicorn.
Unicorn. Everybody knows the unicorn, right? Yay! Hey, y'all give yourselves a round of applause. That's a good round. All right. Which one's coming? Huh? Llama? Llama's way gone. Who knows what a narwhal is? You guys know what that is? It's the unicorn of the sea. It is a big fish with. Oh. Narwhal. You guys haven't seen this thing? It's a giant whale thing, right? With a big old horn sticking out of its head. And everybody loves these stupid things. Now this is a little bit behind. Right now you're a little bit behind the eight ball on the narwhals. But guess what? 3 years ago, I'm cruising around ASD, and I'm walking past all these big booths full of stuffed animals and plushes. Who wants to sell plushes? That sucks, right? Because plush is a product. But when I take a step back and I start looking at the plushes and start identifying keywords and not products, these things start popping up. Speaking narwhals. In fact, this is what I like. I can get off the screen and show you guys some cool stuff. This is exactly what that looked like. This is a picture I took. I'm walking through ASD and literally just stopped and started taking pictures. So how often would we walk past stuffed animals and say, I can't sell that on Amazon? But if we're at a local trade show or something like that, it's easy to stop and take a look and start focusing not on the products and keywords. Look, we've got narwhals all over the place. What else do we have here that's an upcoming animal? Freaking sloth. Sloth is trending up right now. And everybody sells unicorn picnic supplies or birthday supplies on Amazon. Really, nobody's selling sloths yet, right? So what I do is I look at this thing and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this crazy thing with a horn? Look at this, here's a teddy bear with a horn. I don't know what's going on there, but somebody loves it, right? And the reason I know that people love that is because this retail space is expensive. They paid a fortune to be in the Vegas Convention Center. And this is the front shelf facing traffic. They didn't just throw up a bunch of stupid stuffed animals and hope they sold. These people for 4 months have been tactically deciding exactly how they're going to lay these shelves out based on upcoming trends. They're doing the work for us, right? The other cool thing about going to a local place like this, like a workshop, or not a workshop, a trade show, is I can talk to the people. Hey, how you doing? What kind of animal is this? And he goes, look, it's a narwhal. And I'm like, oh, a narwhal's trending up. I can have an entire conversation with the narwhal expert, right? You get crazy interaction. You ask him, hey, what are you working on next year? That isn't even on the shelf. They're like, oh, next year we think Snuffleupagus looking, I don't know, something, right? So by interacting with him, you're getting information. These are awesome, awesome, awesome places to get product ideas. I don't know what kind of stuff you got going on here, specifically in Singapore, but I know we're going to India in October, and that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk around and see what's out there. And literally take those ideas, turn them into keywords, check them out. We'll talk about that validation in a minute. This is very American. This is a flea market. You guys have, you don't call them flea markets here. You probably call them bazaars or something like that. Flea markets are where old retired rednecks go to hang out with their old retired redneck friends and call it a job on Saturdays. Like, so they load up all the crap in their house, they go set up a tent, and we all walk around and look at all their crap, and that's like the American thing to do, right? But what I love about flea markets is kind of like Etsy. Like, people have all sorts of stuff. It's a hobby for them. Like, they travel around to these flea markets on Saturday mornings and sell this stuff that they created in their garage sitting on a flipped over bucket because they didn't want to be inside yelling at their wife, right? Like, this is just what people do. All sorts of awesome product ideas. I call it redneck ingenuity, right? You have them here. You have these local markets that you can go to and glean just mountains of ideas. And it's really easy to look around and say, oh, that wouldn't sell online. Why are you the judge of that? How do you know, right? All we're doing is collecting ideas at places like this. Anybody been here? Anybody know what this is?
How do you know?
How do I know
when
what?
You saw something at flea market, how do you know it's going to sell?
I'm going to show you! We'll get there. We'll get there. Stage 1, where to identify keywords. That's what we're talking about right now. Who knew what this place was? It's not Canton. Iwu. You guys have heard of Iwu.
Yeah.
I was there 3 days ago wearing out my fat legs walking around this place. Iwu is awesome because there are 100,000 vendors under one roof. 100,000 vendors. And most of these vendors are your small manufacturers in China, right? When I first started going to China and sourcing products, I thought China was just full of like these big giant factories with smokestacks sticking out and like, you know, everybody's all dressed up in white uniforms. And no, that's not it. Like 90% of all products in China are these little small family-owned factories. And a lot of times they are creating wonderful products in a room this big, right? And in the middle of that room they've got a $250,000 injection mold plastic, you know, machine, right? They don't have export departments, they don't have English salesmen, they don't have websites, they don't have any of that stuff. So where do they go to show off their stuff? Somewhere like this. That's why there's 100,000 vendors in here. I was there, I literally flew in from here yesterday, and I'm walking around with my clients teaching how to do this, and you're looking at 1 million products, and these products are ahead frequently of the marketplaces because they're creating their own products, or there's a seller, a manufacturer that is making something that's popular in Germany and it's not in the US yet. We don't even know it exists. We got to find it here. You know where those guys found the Yeti cup? Right here. That's where they went. They went and they found this stainless steel Tervis tumbler sitting on the shelf. About 4 years ago, I'm walking around this place, lost, confused, don't know what's going on. I'm hungry, tired, haven't slept in 3 days. And all these people are playing with the stupidest little things I've ever seen in my life. They hold them in their hands and they spin them. Right? Is it offensive if I use my Chinglish right now? This is what they go, oh, these are so cool, they're so popular in the US, you buy it. And I'm like, I don't know what that thing is. They're like, oh, it's so cheap, give you a good price. And I'm like, all right, great. I take it, look at it, what do? I go back to my hotel room, and I get on Amazon, and I find one, and I go to Jungle Scout. And I pull up Jungle Scout, and Jungle Scout says, bad plan, nobody's buying these things. And I'm like, all right, these things are all over China, they're all over Iwu. I've got like 6 of them now because I can't stop playing with them. I'm addicted to them in my hotel room. But I'm letting past sales tell me it's a bad product. You guys see what I'm saying? 16 months later, these things are selling like a bazillion of them a day. And if I had just been smart enough to figure out what people wanted instead of what people were selling, I'd be on a beach in Bali right now, like permanently, right? The same thing happened with like hooded baby towels, the magnet tile blocks. You guys remember all that stuff? I saw all of that stuff 1.5 years before it ever hit Amazon big in this market right here. It works. But sometimes we have to get off our tails and go find these things, right? Here's the truth. There are tons and tons of products waiting to be found. We have to find them first. We have to stop looking at Amazon for new ideas. We can't do it. It doesn't work that way. If it pops up in our feed, it's already probably saturated, or other people already know about it. You do not need to be a designer, an inventor, a patent engineer. You don't have none of that stuff. You just got to be someone that looks around and finds something, not like me, someone that plays this fidget spinner and figures out what people want instead of what they need. And you can test. Okay? Big part of your question, how do we know this thing? We'll get into that. All right. You know the summary? All right. So we have the keyword ideas. Now what? Remember I told you we sell keywords, not products. We don't sell a plush toy. We sell a narwhal plush toy. Right? So when we're looking at these products, we're figuring out keywords, and keywords lead to products. We have to check demand versus competition. How do we do that? Amazon tells us. All right? One of the most advanced thing about Amazon is indexing. Can anybody define Amazon indexing for me? You guys know the answer to this. Come on. What is indexing? All right, shy group. All right, here we go. So,
registering the search results.
yeah. Indexing is where Amazon associates a keyword with a listing. All right? So Amazon says this keyword attaches to this listing, or this listing attaches these 10 keywords. And if indexing didn't work, we couldn't sell on Amazon, because I could type in Nike running shoe and an iPhone case pop up, right? So Amazon's A9 algorithm, which is brilliant at indexing, knows that when I type Nike running shoe, it's only going to show me things that index for Nike running shoe, okay? So what does that mean? That means that every single product on Amazon, Amazon knows what keywords people are associating with it, okay? That's hugely important, so we're going to get this information from Amazon. The other thing that indexing allows people to do, or allows us to do, is to get estimates of search volume, okay? So because people go in and type all sorts of random stuff into Amazon, whether there's a product or not, people are still typing it. Indexing is trying to match those keywords to something, because something shows up. Have you ever typed in a keyword and nothing showed up? No, you get irrelevant stuff, and if you're getting irrelevant stuff, Amazon is still indexing those together. So Amazon knows every time something's searched for, all right? So what Amazon does with indexing is ties it to the drop-down menu, the search suggestion box. You guys know what I mean? So if I start typing into Amazon iPhone, it's going to drop down. It's going to say iPhone case, iPhone X case, iPhone charger case. That vertically tells us the most popular search results related to iPhone. So what these tools like Merchant Words and Scope and Helium-10 Magnet, what they do is they take these data points, attach them to the drop-down menus, and say, based on indexing and all this crazy algorithm, I can type in anything like a Helium-10 Magnet, it's going to tell me an estimated search number, whether or not anybody's bought it or it's even been on Amazon. So if I type in redneck narwhal plush, there might not be a redneck narwhal plush, but if anybody's ever typed it in before, Amazon's going to tell us that will search. Okay? So we let Amazon tell us this data. So you take your keyword, all right? You got to find a keyword. And the keyword is usually off the top of our head. I'm walking around and I find a product and the spinner thing, right? I describe the spinner thing in Google till I come up with the term fidget spinner type in it. So here's an example, backflow incense burner, all right? So this is just a screenshot from Helium-10. Backflow incense burner, search volume estimated 9,500 searches a month. Awesome, 9,500 searches a month. We know how many times estimated people are searching for this a month. Then what do? Amazon also tells us related stuff. So they say, look, waterfall incense burner, they have 4,000 searches a month. Incense burner for cones, 98. Decorative incense holder with backflow, that's pretty long, right? But it's 243. So this is the search volume column. This is literally Amazon saying, hey, not only are we going to tell you how many people are looking for reverse backflow incense burner, look at all this other stuff we indexed for. Right? So even if you just get close, if I don't know what that thing is, you guys know what a garlic press is, right? Like the most saturated thing on Amazon. Do you know that people call it a garlic squisher? There are search results for garlic squisher. If I didn't know what a garlic press was, I'm going to look at it and say, it squishes garlic. And I'm going to type in garlic squisher, and instantly Amazon's going to say, okay, but it's really a garlic press, right? So we don't even have to know exactly what keywords are. Amazon's going to tell us. So, yes?
Actually, based on search term, which is the healthy range for search term? Maybe like 500 isn't good, or maybe if you 3,000 is good.
I'll get to that. Yes, absolutely going to get to that. So, yes?
So when you're sharing your research, right, you're saying that you're using Pinterest or even the trips, do you start off with a category first? And like which category will you look into?
No. What she's asking is when I'm starting with like Pinterest and stuff, am I starting in a category? I can. If I know kitchen accessories really well, I might go into Pinterest and type top kitchen accessories. And I run what I call down rabbit trails. Like I just keep going. Like I don't know anything about Gothic decor. But I'm going to show you guys later how I found an amazing product by chasing these rabbit trails and ending up in Gothic decor, right? So you can start in a category if you want to. Here's the problem. If you start in something that you're familiar with, you're more likely to start validating yourself, okay? And what I mean by validating is not letting the data tell us. We just go, oh, that's a stupid product. Like, we do that all the time. So when we get outside of our comfort zone, we're more likely to be like objective in our thinking and let Amazon tell us, because we're terrible indicators of what's going to be good or not. We're too emotionally tied up to a product. Oh, I don't like that. I'd never use that. I don't care if you never use it. If enough other people are going to use it, I'll sell it, right? I sell the dumbest shoe accessory you've ever seen in your life. It is just the stupidest thing I've ever seen. And I have like 1,500 people a month that buy them. If I had found those things and went, man, that thing's stupid, and validated it myself, I wouldn't be selling 1,500 of these and making another $4,500 a month off of it. And I've been doing it for like 4 years and I have no competition, right? All right, so now what? I'm going to push pretty fast right now, and then you guys can back me down if you need to, and then I'll kind of wrap around as I walk through this. So let's say this, and let me say this about indexing too. We know that there are search volume tools like Magnet. Any of you use reverse ASIN tools? Reverse ASIN tools do the same thing. It shows us what's indexing to. Okay? So if I don't even know a keyword, I just find a similar product. I can use a reverse ASIN tool. There's a lot of them on the market, and let Amazon tell us, hey, here's the keywords for that. All right? So what we're looking for is we're looking for a product that has demand with low competition. Now that seems very vague, right? All of you are going, okay, Tim, what do those numbers look like? There's not an exact number, and let me explain. There are a lot of products that have 10,000 searches a month and have 1 million sellers, like high demand, high competition. What we're looking for is an anomaly, all right? And that anomaly is just a difference. It doesn't have to be defined. You're asking, like, how many searches are good? I sell products. Well, let me do this first. Can everybody see this screen? Let me draw you out my, here, can I drag this over to the center of the room? I'm going to knock your tripod over. All right, this is real high tech right here. Look at this. All right. So, in fact, I'm going to squat down so you guys can see it. All right, so here's my marker. Let's try this. That's not a very good marker. Let's try this one. All right, so here's my triangle that represents a product. Okay? This product is anything that I want to sell. Let's call this product a garlic press. Okay? This product, garlic press, is represented, well, don't even call it garlic press. It's just that thing that does the thing, okay? It's represented by a keyword. What's the top keyword for that thing that does a thing? It's a garlic press, okay? So that's the #1 keyword. So garlic press, man, that's terrible handwriting. I mean, misspelled it, garlic priest. That garlic priest keyword might have 20,000 searches a month, okay? But there are other keywords that people are looking for too. They are going to be down here. This is going to be garlic squisher, press for garlic, garlic mincer, silicone handled garlic press, right? We could build out all these long tail keywords that also represent the same exact product. But these aren't going to have 20,000. This might have 300. This might have 1,200. This might have, another 300, 200. When we add all these up, we could get some significant volume in here. We can get 4,500 searches on 7 or 8 keywords, okay? So remember I said we're looking for keywords, not product. We're also selling keywords, not products, right? So I'm looking at this going, all right, here's some search volume. So to answer your question, the answer is not how much, what's the perfect search, but can we stack up enough of these long tail keywords or something to sell the product? Like there's some demand here without breaking the bank and being too competitive. So here's the other thing about my triangle. We all know that we have to use pay-per-click sometimes, right? This, for garlic press, is going to be $3 click. These keywords I might get for 40 cents, right? These are cheap. Up here, you've got massive competition. You got all these Chinese black hat blockchain software writers, like just destroying you up here. You've got the negative review campaigns because everybody's fighting for garlic press. I'm down here. I'm kind of an airplane nerd now because I fly a lot. And last night, checked one off my bucket list. I got to fly on the Singapore Airlines Airbus 380 double-decker jet. Holy crap, is that thing amazing, right? Wow. Like, I'll never enjoy American Airlines ever again. They upgraded me to business class, and they're like, escort me to my seat. I'm like, oh, it's amazing. It's an amazing plane. It's beautiful. You guys, love that plane. You'll up to, Changi Airport or something. You're like, look at this, national airplane. But they're freaking expensive. And they take a huge crew to fly them. And they take 6-foot concrete runways to land this thing on, right? And the fuel consumption is enormous, but they're beautiful. That's a garlic press. That's what everybody's watching. All right? Me, I like flying a Cessna. You guys know the little single-engine Cessnas, right? They stay low to the ground. They're not pretty. They're not sexy. Nobody wants one. But I can buy one dirt cheap. I can land it in a grass field if I want to. It costs me next to no fuel. And for the same cost as this big old giant Singapore Airlines A380, I can launch 30 of these. And nobody pays attention. I fly completely under the radar. Nobody's attacking me. No one's jealous of me, right? So when I'm looking for keywords, I don't want stuff with a lot of search. If I'm cruising around Amazon and I find a keyword that has 10,000 search results, I almost immediately dismiss it. Gone, big jet, jumbo jet, gone, I don't want it, right? Because it's going to be tough. But what I do like is a product that I can stack up 7 or 8 keywords with, and I can get 3 or 4 or 5,000 searches with low competition. And the way we check competition is to see if there's even any other products. Or if there are they really horrible listings? Like, are they even indexing for these keywords, right? I like products that I can launch easily, inexpensively, those Cessnas, right? I'm spreading my base wide, wide but not deep. I'm not spending a ton of money. If I'm going to keep the garlic press on page 1, I got to sell a bazillion a month. I've got to have mountains of inventory. I got to buy 12 containers of these stupid things, right? But I can launch a bunch of, and this, aside from keywords, this also works for products. I can launch a bunch of products that only sell 7 or 8 products a day, but I don't have to buy huge amounts. They're less competitive, so my margins are higher. If one person takes down one listing, who cares? I got 20 more, right? So I'm looking for those Cessnas that fly under the radar. So in search volume, I'm not looking for the big numbers. I'm looking for the medium or smaller numbers that I can stack up. No one knows what I'm doing. Yes?
If that is the case, you are using the hidden, then you see the IQ score, right? As IQ score is the guideline for you.
IQ score is worthless. And they'll tell you it's worthless, right? Like, I keep begging Bradley, take this stupid thing off. Because here's what happens. The IQ score is supposed to be the anomaly indicator, right? It's supposed to be the here's demand, here's competition. Here's the problem. Their competition is determined by indexing, right? So let me give you an example. If I type in Amazon, blue leather iPad sleeve, I might have 1,000 people a month search blue leather iPad sleeve. But in that row on Helium 10 that says competing products, it might say 20,000 or 90,000 competitors. So the IQ score is going to say 10. Well, here's the reason. That competitors column is just the number of products that are indexing for all the words in my title. So it's every product that's indexing for blue and leather and iPad and sleeve. That's why it doesn't work. It's garbage, right? So that's why, even Helium, that's why I love Helium 10 is because they backed off on their whole algorithm, the CPR method. They said quit doing it because it doesn't work. All right, so we have a product idea, all right? Hypothetically, we can build up 5 or 6 search terms that kind of flow below the radar or fly below the radar, but we've got 3,000 or 4,000 searches a month. We really don't have anybody else selling it. But remember, all these tools just give you an estimate. The other problem is we don't know how competitive it's going to be. We have no idea. We don't know if other people are attacking those keywords, running expensive ads on them, trying to launch products on them. We don't know. So we test. All right? This is one of the coolest things we ever figured out how to do, was testing on Amazon. So let's go back to our reverse flow reverse flow incense burner, backflow, whatever. You guys you know what I'm talking about. One of those stupid things. And let's say it looks good. All right. Oh man, I can stack up a few keywords and I can get 5,000 searches a month, and there's only like 4 of them even on Amazon. All the listings suck. But how do we know people are going to buy them? So what I do, this is just an example. You can go anywhere. We got to find a relevant product to test. We don't want to go to China and buy 3,000 of these things and hope they work. All we want is 10 of them or 15 of them. You can pop over here to Etsy. Remember the magical website Etsy? And let's find something that's even close. You guys can't see it, it's kind of faded. This is technically a reverse flow you guys know what I mean, backflow incense burner. And it's $18 shipped, free shipping. So I can get 10 of these shipped to my house for $180. I don't care if I don't like the product. I don't care if the sample sucks. I don't care if it's this big. Because what am I testing? I'm not testing this product, I'm just testing a keyword. I just gotta have something relevant to test, okay? So I buy 10 of these things. I set up just the crappiest listing I can, all right? And what I mean by crappy is, we don't want to sell this product. Anybody know where I'm getting with this?
Yeah.
I've only got 10. If I sell it, I don't get data. So what I do is I send those 10 things to Amazon. I make sure that I've got my keywords listed. Reverse incense burner, backflow incense burner, reverse dragon back, whatever I want to do. I make sure those are in the listing minimally, because remember, we have to index. Because if we don't index, if Amazon doesn't attach that keyword to my product, they're not going to let me run an ad on it. And then I set up a pay-per-click campaign for those same exact keywords. Okay? So I go in and I set up an exact match phrase campaign for those same keywords, and I turn on my bids. This is a test we just did recently. Okay? I obviously took the keywords out, but aside from that column, you guys recognize this. Now, are any of you running campaigns right now? What am I missing here? What data am I missing? What else? I'm missing ACOS. I'm missing click-through rate. I'm missing all sorts of stuff that does not matter in this phase. Completely irrelevant. All I want are impressions, cost per click. That's it. Okay? So what I'll do is I'll go over here and I'll put in my keywords. Reverse backflow incense burner, dragon incense burner, whatever. I make sure that I'm bidding pretty high. What happens if I get outbid? I don't get the impressions. So if I go in and I bid 50 cents a click, and I get outbid, after 2 weeks it's going to look like there was no impressions. And what is an impression? An impression is telling me every time someone searches that exact phrase. So now I know, if this were an example, that if this top one were reverse backflow, whatever, incense burner, that during the time that I ran this test, and this test was a 2-week test, I know that in 2 weeks, 27,000 people searched that phrase. All right? It's a little bit scary. But there's all these other keywords. You can see how they stack up. This was actually a fail for us because there's too much search volume, but it's a really good example of this. Couple other things to know. So I said we had to bid high. Who knows what this column is? Suggested search or suggested bid. Guys, this is horse crap. Do not believe this. There's all these yokels out there teaching us, these gurus. Oh, go into estimated, cost per click, and they'll tell you how competitive it is. Look, it's bullcrap. 57 cents between 44 and 114. What was my actual cost per click? The top end is 113, actually 123. This was off. Look at this one. 49 cents to $1. What was my actual cost per click? $1.42. Don't use that information. All of that is complete garbage, worthless, throw it out the window. Okay? But as long as, based on all those impressions, I get 1 click, I get the true number. Now, the reason these are blank is nobody clicked. Right? That's okay. I still got the impression numbers. So what we're aiming to do is not sell this product, but we want to get 1 click. So how do we not sell the product? We have a horrible picture. We have a horrible listing. we don't have a good description, and we jack our price up to 2 times what it would actually sell for. All right? Because the worst case scenario, and this happens to us all the time, is we'll pick a really good product that we think the target price is going to be $35, and we're like, we'll sit it at 70 with this crappy picture, crappy listing, and like 2 days later, they all sold out. It's kind of exciting, but on the other hand, I don't have any data. I know nothing. Like, we want to intentionally not sell this thing for a couple weeks to find out what on earth is going on. Because we may have 27,000 searches in 2 weeks, and I'm going, I don't want to sell that thing, too competitive, right? So we intentionally aren't selling. So really with like listings, I've got multiple listings that I run. We set up a listing for the test, and then if it passes our test criteria and we think we're going to launch it later, we delete this listing completely. Do not use your test listing. Even if you test 10 products and you get 5-star reviews, kill it, cut it, crush it. Several reasons. One is, if it passes your test, you're going to go out and source this thing long term, right? Anybody know what the honeymoon period is?
Yep.
You lose it. All right? You run out, you turn this listing off, your honeymoon period. For those of you that don't know, Amazon, every time you list a product, they want you to sell it. Why? Because they get their 15% commission. So they give you the benefit of the doubt. All right? If I'm selling a garlic press, and I create a new listing for garlic press, and there's 500 pages of garlic press, they're not going to put me on page 500. They're going to put me on page 200. They're going to give me a little credit. So like, maybe this is a new innovative, it's going to sell well. And they're giving you some credit, hoping you move up. On these products that aren't as much search volume and competition, there might only be 3 pages of results. They might put you on the bottom of page 1. See how you do. Hopefully you do well. The problem is if you sell out your 10 samples, and you run out of stock, and it's 2 months before you stock up, when you start back again, you're on page 3. Kill that listing, crush it. Another problem is you might get some bad reviews. Who cares? I've got a commercial wood manufacturing shop that I own, and we create prototypes there all the time. We find like these kitchen things, and I'll look at this listing image, and I'll be like, you know, on Pinterest, I'm like, I think I can make that. And I'll go to my wood shop guy, and I'll have a printed out picture, say, can you make this? And he says, I think I can make that. And I'll say, give it a shot, make 10 of them. And we make 10 of something we've never made before. We don't know what the heck this thing's supposed to do. We don't know how it's supposed to look. We don't know how to construct it well. And all 10 of them break, right? And we get like 4-star reviews, and like all of them get returned. Who cares? Because we're not testing a product, we're testing a keyword, right? You can get crazy with this. You can do some wicked awesome stuff with it. Let me see what my next slide is. Some wicked awesome tests. All right. So for example, I'm speaking at that ASD trade show, and there's a vendor over here that's selling cocktail shakers. You know, the rose gold cocktail shakers. You guys know what I'm talking about. And I was giving an example. I'm saying, you know, if we're looking at these cocktail shakers, maybe we can go to Pinterest type if we go to Amazon type cocktail shakers, it's all going to be the same stainless steel thing. If we go to Pinterest and maybe one pops up that's a wood version. We can't buy a wood version. Like this is just like a once in a lifetime handmade, homemade one, right? How do we test that? How do we find out if people are searching and want to buy a wood cocktail shaker? Don't have to make it, we just have to match the keywords. So I can go to Google Shopping and I can buy a 70-cent cocktail shaker. And what goes with cocktail shakers that might be wood? You guys know what a muddler is? I'll show you. That's it. It's just a stick. So I can literally go into, you know, Google Shopping and I can buy a 40-cent, 50-cent stainless steel cocktail shaker. I can buy a 50-cent wooden muddler. Now what do I have? If I bundle those together, I have a listing that is cocktail shaker wooden muddler. Muddler wooden cocktail shaker. See what just happened? Now Amazon's going to index me for wooden cocktail shaker. Now I can run a PPC ad for wooden cocktail shaker. And I can see how many impressions I get for wooden cocktail shaker. And I can take, as long as those keywords are similar, I can build a listing for whatever I want to. Now if someone's looking for a wooden cocktail shaker and my ad pops up with a stainless steel cocktail shaker, obviously that's not what they want, but we don't care. We just want the data, and Amazon's going to give it to us. And as long as one person goes, what kind of idiot seller is running an ad with this crappy picture, and clicks on it once we get the cost per click. And we are constantly finding products that have you know, 1,000 searches and 500 searches and 800 searches a keyword, and over 5 keywords we have 3,000 searches, and our cost per click is 30 cents when we run a test, or 40 cents. Like those of you that run PPC, that's nothing. Like that's probably Amazon's default, right? Like dirt cheap. So we have demand with low competition. Make sense? So identify keywords. We talked about a lot of ways and places to find those keywords. Initially validate them using the software tools. And on top of using the software tools, I would say even check relevancy. Like just see if they're even on Amazon, because a lot of times they're not. And then when we want to go to the third round of advanced like validation, we run these PPC tests, right? I've even gone so crazy with these PPC. You guys know the expression, do as I say, not as I do. I have literally found these amazing keywords, and I couldn't even think of a product to sell with it. So we whip up some like crazy picture and put it on, and I go out and I get like 10 little cardboard boxes in my packing area, and I just put like trash in it. Like I'll find something that weighs a couple pounds. Like I've even gone over to saw and cut like 10 pieces of wood, you know, that weigh like a half a pound, put in the boxes, send them in. And I'm checking a keyword for like a textile thing, like a woman's accessory, right? And as long as Amazon thinks it's in there and they let me index those, I can run those PPC tests. Now if someone accidentally buys it, we just have to send them an apology. Oh, I'm so sorry, you're shipping it. But after we run our test, we just do a removal order, all that stuff come back, so we throw it away, right? So that's a little black hat. I'm not saying you should do that, but I'm using example to say as long as Amazon indexes stuff, we can test it. Make sense?
Okay, question, right? So do we have to do FBA for these tests?
You have to do FBA because Amazon gives you so much more like ranking juice and priority for FBA that a lot of times the FBM, even if you are bidding more, they'll put you like down on the second page. You're not going to get that impression. So for those of you here, it does stink a little bit. It's a little harder. But if you've got a friend in the U.S. that'll put some trash in a box for you and ship 10 of them in, you can make it work, right? There's a lot of prep centers that will accept stuff from Etsy, package 10 of them, and ship them in for you, right? So there's a lot of ways you can make this work even remotely.
Will it affect your store ratings even after you delete the listing?
No, it's your product ratings and your seller ratings are completely separated, right? And if you get a bad review, even as a seller, it's still a product level review, so you can get it dismissed. So if they come in and leave you a seller review and it's like, I ordered a woman's makeup bag and I got a chunk of wood. I'm like, what the crap? Well, you can get Amazon just remove that. But generally it doesn't happen because really the listing's so bad nobody's buying it. As long as we get a couple clicks to get that data, that's all we care about, right? All right, what other questions do we have about those three things? Locating keywords, initial validation, and PPC tests.
Yeah, Helium 10 doesn't pick that up, this kind of data. So you really have to run those ads to get that information.
You have to. You can get a good idea, but you can't know for sure. So, because a lot of the stuff that we do is so abstract, and people ask me all the time, like, Tim, these methods work for beginner sellers or advanced sellers? Like, I'm telling you, it works for everybody. Because if you're a beginner seller and you don't want to spend $10,000 buying a container of garlic presses, you can test the water here, right? If you're an advanced seller and you're got 3 VAs cruising Amazon, tell them to stop. Start cruising Pinterest and doing these same things for you. And this is tough. Like, we're not dummies, right? Amazon sellers are pretty smart, but we're all doing this same thing where we sell these saturated products, and it's because we're humans. All right? I give the example all the time. If we're standing on the edge of a cliff and we're looking down and it's 100 feet to the water and the water's black and we can't see how deep it is, are you going to jump off that cliff? I'm not. What if that water's only 6 inches deep? Shatter my legs, right? But a half a mile down the beach, there's a cliff and people are jumping off of it. They're landing. They're surviving. Everything's happy and they get up and they jump off it again. I'm going to come to this cliff, right? But this cliff is where the saturated products are. This is where other people are selling it. And what we do is we say, I don't know about this product that's not selling, but other people are selling that one, surely I can too. Like that's the whole Jungle Scout thing, right? We look at validation that other people are doing it, I can too. You guys, I've got this expression called the 6-month death gap. All right? It like crushes you. Here's the thing. When I find a product on Jungle Scout and I start this process of finding a supplier, thinking about it and validating it and getting my samples and getting my quotes and placing an order and getting an ocean ship, it's like 6 months, right? So if my 6-month period is here, and when I'm thinking about it right here, there's only one seller or 2 sellers, what I don't know is there could be 50 sellers right here, and there's that little bitty gap. Like they could be 5.5 months ahead of me, and I don't know it. When I had a shipping company and this sourcing company, oh my gosh, I saw it all the time. I'd see one person that's doing really well with a product, and 3 or 4 more would jump on it, and I couldn't tell them that, like I'm just a shipping guy. Who am I to judge, right? But then I'd see like 2 or 3 people doing well, and then I'd see like 10 other people jump on this product, and I'm like, and then we're sourcing it, we're shipping it. Sometimes they'd be like, I think it's getting saturated. Like, shut up, you're just a shipping guy. Just ship it for me. I'm like, okay. And then like 3 months later, people are still calling me and going, hey, I found this crazy great product. Can you source it? And I myself, as a small company, have like 4 containers of these things on the water, right? Things get saturated. When you're standing on this cliff, this happens. So what do? We stand on this cliff and we test how deep the water is. And that's how we do it, right? So does it take a little while? Yeah. But as long as I measure twice and cut once, you know what I mean? As long as I'm testing how deep that water is, we can be the first to jump off that cliff without shattering our legs in shallow water, right?
I'm not really familiar with Helium-10 that much, but just before you mentioned that new tool, Black Box or something, where they're looking for these sorts of products, does that present much of a risk for this sort of the saturation effect slide across?
If it were a perfect software tool, yes, it would potentially be risky.
Yeah.
But it's not perfect because there's not a single tool that can completely replace the human element of creativity and relevance. So remember Amazon indexes. Amazon is saying this is attached to this, this is attached to this. They don't always know. You want to see an example? Yes?
Yes.
Woo! All right. So I'll show you a real life example of exactly how this happened. I showed you my pictures of walking around ASD. Where is it? All right. Here's another picture that I took at ASD. If you're walking around a trade show looking for Amazon products, do fake flowers really excite you?
Yes.
They don't excite me either. Which is why I stopped and went, it took like 8 steps back and took a picture, and I'm like, I'm sure I'll find something here. And in this booth, they had these crazy 18 by 18 or 20 inch by 20, because we use inches because we're dumb, right? So I don't know what 30 centimeter by 30 centimeter, whatever it is, tiles of fake plant material, like fake, like bushes, okay? So I'm like, all right, let's check this out. So I could have done this a lot of ways. I could have gone straight to Unit 10, but let's just go to Amazon. And we have like, I'm just throwing out stuff, and I'm like, plant top. Ah, what is this? I'm looking around at all these crazy listings, right? Look at this thing. This is like, what is this? 12 pieces, 20 inch by 20 inch, for $126. 162 reviews, right? They're killing it. Doesn't mean we need to kill it. Stay away from this. But I'm looking through here and I'm like, man, look at all these crazy like sellers. People are selling a heck of a lot of these like fake things. What are they doing with these? So I stop myself and go, let's find out what Amazon says. How do we do that? Oh, that's the sponsor. I don't want to do that. Go to this established ad. We're going to do a reverse ASIN search, okay? So everybody know what an ASIN? Who doesn't know what an ASIN is? Those of you that aren't selling should raise your hands. Okay, honesty time. ASIN is an Amazon search indicator number or something like that. It's like Amazon's internal number. So when I say reverse ASIN search, what I mean is we're going to go in here and grab this number. And I'm going to shortcut it. This is the Helium-10 extension. And we're going to go and check the keywords. So like I could copy and paste this in an reverse ASIN tool. And basically what Amazon's going to do, by the way, this doesn't work in China. I found that out when I was trying to do a coaching call 2 days ago and be really slick and show this to people, and it didn't work. Felt kind of dumb. It's taken a while. even here. I may have said that and just cursed myself. Hit the refresh button, right? I thought I was. Is it working for you? Okay. Was it slow? But anyways, what's going to happen is it's going to pop up all these other keywords that are indexing for that product, okay? And what that looks like is this. So backyard, Genpar, so this is like a brand name, we can exclude that. Privacy hedge, look, flower wall. There are 5,800 people searching for flower wall. What the crap is a flower wall? Now remember I said the IQ score doesn't matter because they're comparing competing products. And competing products is flower and wall. That's too broad, right? So just ignore that. But 1,500 people searching for that, 1,200 for artificial boxwood, 1,600 for artificial hedge. Like these are the numbers that get me excited because these are Cessna numbers, right? So I'm cruising through here, and I may, let's see if I can actually find it. Oh, here it is. All right. You see this keyword right here? Grass wall backdrop. I was looking at boxwood tiles, but it's telling me that Amazon is even showing me grass wall backdrop. And there's 1,300 searches a month. Like that's right in my Cessna zone. So the reason I'm not too worried about like this black box tool is because the black box tool doesn't compare like relevancy. So check this out. Remember, there's 1,300 people a month searching for grass backdrop. What I did is I just shortcutted to the search, grass wall backdrop. See it up there in my search? Tell me when you guys get it. Nobody yet? Nothing? There's not a single grass one. These are all boxwoods. I searched grass wall backdrop, and there's nothing that's actually grass wall backdrop. How are you guys not excited about this? Like, we need to be cheering. Because what we did, we just found a product opportunity. Just in that one keyword, grass wall backdrop, 1,300 people are searching for it. There's other, grass wall tiles. There's other keywords we can stack up to get that 5,000 searches a month. It's not even on Amazon. These aren't grass. These are bushes. Right? So as I cruise down through here, guys, that's not grass. So what Amazon is saying is, oh, it's grass wall backdrops because they don't understand relevancy. But when I go to the page, I'm freaking out. Like I'm ripping my shirt off like Hulk and running around in my front yard excited because I just found a killer private label product. Now, how did this happen? I saw some stupid fake flowers in a market. And I went back and I just typed in like fake flower panel, which they had. I take the top listing and I let Amazon tell me what it's indexing for at the reverse ASIN. I find this random key. This is what I was talking about rabbit trails. Like I just bounce around. Find this grass wall backdrop. Go to it and it's not even there. Like demand, competition. There it is. There's demand, no competition. Do you guys get it? Make sense? A couple of you still look lost. Yes?
How would you interpret the grass wall backdrop as a product? Because what if that was the interpretation here?
Amazon is a buyer intent platform. If they want a grass wall backdrop, they want a grass wall backdrop. They don't want a boxwood backdrop. Like, and I don't mean that to be facetious, but like, they're seeing what the best option is. But we have literally found a product that we know people are searching for, and it's not even there. Now, I say it's not there. We might keep cruising through here, and we might eventually find it. But it's not on page 1. So what does this mean? Look, sponsored ad, it's a brick wall backdrop. So do you think it's going to be very competitive to run ads to this? No, absolutely not. Our ads are going to be 40 cents a click, and everybody talks about launches. How do I get to page 1? How do I get to page 1? How do I get to page 1? When you find a product that's in demand with no competition, you land on it in day 1 and you're done. That's it. Because Amazon is begging for someone to sell a grass wall backdrop. These listings of boxwood backdrops don't even have the word grass in them. So if we index for grass wall backdrop, we should be on page 1 tomorrow. Right? Make sense? Now we have a product that people are looking for that there is no competition.
Okay, so that means some of the indexing, right, is actually what Amazon thinks, right?
Yeah.
It's not what you enter as a keyword or
Correct.
index.
Alright, what other questions specifically related to this example? Because I can slow it down and back through this again.
So what does that mean? When you say the grass, something background, that is the keyword that you need to put in your product?
Or that's just the product we need to sell. So I told you it starts with keywords and goes to products. We found a keyword that's in demand with no competition. Now we just find a product. So you can go to Alibaba, you can do whatever you want. Check this out. I haven't done this. Y'all are seeing it live. Well, let's see what this looks like.
So you give Amazon the keywords system?
Yeah. So green grass backdrop. Remember, oh my gosh, what did we say about Pinterest? Pinterest is a place that tells us what people want. So I go to Amazon and I type in green or grass wall. I typed the wrong thing. Grass wall backdrop. Look at that. Grass wall backdrop. Exact same keywords. Okay? I go to Amazon and type grass wall backdrop, and this is what I get. It's all bushes. I go to Pinterest and type grass wall backdrop, and this is what people want. This is actual grass. That's not that bush. That's not that bush. Like maybe you guys can't see it real well on the screen, but these are actual grass, not leaves. There are some leaves on there, but there's a lot on here that's actual grass, right? So we know what people want. It's not being offered for sale, right? That's how you find private label products sold on Amazon. And we know that there's estimated 1,500 searches for grass wall backdrop, but how many other keywords could there be? Grass backdrop for photography, grass tile, we can come up with 10 keywords and probably have 4,000, 5,000 searches a month, and it's not there.
When you first spotted that product, right, how do you know how to describe that product? For example, maybe like 5 years ago, you spotted a fidget spinner, but by then people probably don't know what this thing is called fidget spinner, and it's don't know what toy or what.
So in that picture I showed you at the trade show, they literally had these tiles just like this hanging on a wall. So I literally just typed shrub tile, whatever, and the same things come up. So I just roughly describe it. And remember, once I pulled this up, I did the reverse ASIN search where I found the grass and went, that's interesting. Went to the grass listing and it's not even there. And then we can further validate it by going to Pinterest and seeing what people are using it for, kids' birthday parties and photo backdrops and feng shui, home decor and all that stuff, right? Mountains of opportunity there. Yes, sir.
So this indexing is created by Amazon.
Yes.
And you think of something, you search in Amazon, it's not there, but sure Pinterest is there.
Yeah.
So how to move it to the Amazon?
Buy it. Source it. Find a...
I mean, that's what you're looking to fill the gap.
Yeah, so, all right, so let me keep going. So we think that we could sell these grass tile backdrops, right? Let's do this. I haven't done this. Y'all are watching me do this for the first time. See, grass tile backdrop. Woo, there's not even anything there. This is actually good. I can't buy a sample of it here, but this is good. It means people are looking for it. It's not going to be saturated. All right, let's try this. Korean style women. That is not my search history. That's weird. There you go. Now remember, it doesn't actually have to be a grass tile. It could just be the keywords. So I can literally buy anything. Well, here's some actual grass tiles. So if you actually want grass tiles, here you go. Those are actual grass tiles. But I could go in and buy any of this stuff that the keyword matches, right? Buy 10 of them and rock and roll and test them just to make sure. And then I'm sure I could go to Alibaba and find these things all day long, right? So this is how you test something and source it before anybody else is even selling it. But we know there's demand.
So how do you develop this into a standard method to find such keywords? This you accidentally found it, right?
So it's not accident, but it is random. Okay? So I can't tell you how many times I've had this conversation with people that want to automate this. And it's tough. You can't 100% automate it. You can't. That sucks. But I'm sorry, this isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. This isn't buy a piece of software and you make $1 million. It's not. It takes work. So what I tell people is, the majority of what we just did is gather data. That's what we did. We just stacked up keywords and plugged in a lot of stuff and checked the numbers. You can outsource that. We hire VAs to do that. Now, are VAs going to find a product for us? No. Because the VAs are not quite capable to because we're screwed up in the head, right? Like as entrepreneurs, we're not quite right. Like, we're not, you know? So we have to have like this little bit of creativity and like connect some dots that don't quite exist. So to automate this, what we do, mostly automate it, is gather as much data as we can through an automated system. So I'll literally hire VAs. I'll be like, go on Pinterest, run as many rabbit trails as you can, throw up keywords, find keywords that have between 2,000 and 3,000 searches a month, and then tag on other related keywords that will combine to add another 3,000. Go to all those keywords specifically on Amazon and find out how many pages of relevancy there is and build these giant spreadsheets. And then I go in and just cruise through them and look for the anomaly. Search, a lot of search on these keywords that represent a product and really no relevant products. And then I'll go, huh. So I can put them to work for 8 hours and then cruise that spreadsheet in 10 minutes. Find the things that pop out to me and then go through and run these rabbit trails myself. So you cannot automate it 100%. I'm sorry, you just can't do it. But that's okay, because what would happen if you could automate it 100%? I'd be out of a job. Like, we'd all just hit the button, we'd all make money for 3 months, then the whole market would collapse and we'd all be screwed again, right? Like, honestly, so we have to have barriers to entry. We have to have these moats around our magical businesses that not everybody can cross. Otherwise, we got nothing. So, like, I love this. You saw when I went to Pinterest or Etsy and nothing popped up and I was like, yeah. Why is that? Like, it would have been cool to go to Etsy and find 10 of these things to test. But just the fact that it's not on Etsy is like one more indicator that's going to be a little bit harder for the next guy. Right? So do you want to see another rabbit trail?
Yes.
I'm just kidding. You're going to go for this one?
Am I? No, because I've told 100 people about it. Are you crazy? What are you talking about? Like 3 weeks ago, I was doing a workshop in Vegas at the trade show where I literally walked around Sunday and snapped those pictures you just saw. Snap, snap, snap. Saved them. Monday morning, I'm in a workshop with 50 people and literally found that product live. And so I just replicated it to show you, but I found it live. And someone in the back of the room goes, dibs. I was like, you know the word dibs, right?
No.
Oh, crap. All right. Dibs is like, I got it. Like mine. You know, like, what's that movie with the seagulls that are like, mine? That's dibs, right? So everything else in the room is like, oh, you know. But I've told 100 people about that thing now, so no, I'm not going for this. You can. All right, so let me show you another example. Anybody seen this in pop culture lately? They're everywhere, right? Everywhere. But this isn't a product, it's a keyword. The keyword is sugar skull. All right? Because we have to attach, a keyword to something. So sugar skull. So we're cruising around sugar skulls. And what we keep coming up with was, and this is, I'm fast forwarding a little bit, but we've got a lot of tattoos and stuff like that. But as there it is already. Sugar skull is highly searched on Pinterest. Remember, top 5 search engine in the English language. There's a lot of data here. We can reasonably assume that these are the most popular image for sugar skull, right? Everybody on the same page with me? You agree?
Yeah.
Within 15 results, what do we have? Furniture. And this is actually crazy because I haven't walked down this road in about 2 months, and this is going to blow your mind when you see the connection I make right here. But we're literally cruising through, and we're seeing home decor. So here's a potted plant. Here's a coffin shelf. Crazy. And I'm thinking to myself, like, all right, what about Gothic decor, right? So I could go to Amazon and look for a product, or I can go straight to Helium-10, go to Magnet, which is a search tool where I actually type in a search thing. I type in Gothic decor. Let's see if it'll still do it. This is the wait again, remember? Is internet here pretty fast generally? Yes. Like Australia is the suckiest internet you've ever seen in the world. Like, I think that every country is just known for their internet speed. The hotel last night was like, even wireless, like 400 megabytes download. Oh, amazing. All right, so Gothic decor. We know that there are nearly 12,000 people searching for Gothic decor. I don't want that, but remember, because of indexing, Amazon's going to show us a lot more. So you can start cruising down through this thing. Gucci blanket? Who says that a Gucci blanket is Gothic? I don't get that. But remember, it's not just relevancy, it's just what Amazon is like coming up with, right? So there's all sorts of stuff you can run down these rabbit trails. Black rugs. So, you can actually filter this stuff. So like the search volume, you can say I want a minimum of 1,000, maximum of 2,000. That's like my magic number, right? So that'll start filtering some stuff out for me. Anybody see it? I told you I was going to come back to this. Can you guys read it? Might be too fuzzy. Coffin shelf. Remember that thing I saw on Pinterest? Yeah. Check this out. Coffin shelf. I don't know who puts a coffin shelf in their house, but at least 1,500 people a month are searching for it.
This is the end time.
Watch this. This is going to blow your mind. So, what do you guys notice about this page that's different than most pages you've ever pulled up that has any search volume? Remember, just coffin shelf has 1,500 searches a month. Remember, at the bottom of my triangle, we could stack up shelf shaped like coffin and, coffin oddity shelf and like all these other things. We could probably crank this thing up to 4,000 searches that would match this product, right? But what you notice about this page is very different.
The same shelf.
Easier. There's no sponsored ad. There's not a single person running an ad for coffin shelf. Woo! Woo! Yes! Yeah! At least 1,500 searches a month estimated for this, and not a single person running an ad for it. Demand, competition. All right? Now watch this. I got goosebumps. Thank you. I needed that. All right. Remember we talked about relevancy, right? Watch this. I'm in the first 10 results, and we've gone way all over. Like, where the crap have we gone? We've gone from some coffin shelves to a towel shelf. I mean, look at this. Like, this has nothing to do with a coffin at all. This has nothing to do with a coffin. So what's that mean? Amazon is so desperate to show you a product for coffin shelf, they're showing you all sorts of relevant bullcrap. What does that mean? Page 1 now. That's it. You've seen it, right? You want to dive deeper? Check this out. We know that there's no relevance here, but I see a problem with this. One is we've got this Sourpuss brand. Sourpuss is sucking it up. How do we know they're sucking it up? Their titles are horrible. They have very few reviews. If I go into Amazon's choice for coffin shelf, which we know has at least 1,500 searches, the very best option is this guy.
Oh, shit.
Woo! What an amazing listing. Right? So everybody in this Amazon private label game is beating their heads against the wall and fighting each other for these super competitive keywords. They're that beautiful A380, and I'm just Cessnaing the crap out of everybody. right? Because I'm cruising around finding stuff like this that nobody's even seen. And it's easy. Like, I could do this, I could show you 10 more examples tonight, right? Now you want to see something even crazier? All right, look, there's no keywords in here. Because think about this. They're ranking for coffin shelf. But remember that keyword of coffin or of Gothic decor? That was a little too high? There's a bunch of keywords in the middle that I wanted. But remember when we were in Pinterest? I told you I was going to come back to it. This shocked me. Gothic decor. Guess what's right there? A freaking coffin shelf. Right? Now the coffin shelves on Amazon are only this big. But still, people for some reason love this concept of coffin shelf. Even on Pinterest, they're validating my whole madness here. Right? People love these things. Now, Amazon is sucking it up because, where'd it go? Hold on. And, all right. Amazon is sucking it up because the best option they got is this horrible, cruddy listing with 2 or 3 janky pictures, right? But if I'm going to buy something Gothic, what color comes to your mind?
Black.
Black. All right. So I'm looking at Sourpuss. They've got this purple, red, pink, green. This Joker, who's got the one black one, something different, great name. 3 1-star reviews? Are you kidding me? And they're still the number 2 position. But Sourpuss, like, what happened, Sourpuss? Why do you not have a black coffin shelf? Let's check it out and find out. Remember I told you about black box? So with black box, you can type products or you can type keywords. Keywords identifies keywords, products identifies products. This is pretty easy. I want to know what else Sourpuss, why did Sourpuss not have a black? Let's see if they did. There it is. Guess what this means? They're out of stock. That's not a bad problem to have. Because even look, their black only has 2 pictures. And not only should black be the number 1 spot, remember the purple one had like 2 reviews? Black has 10, so black is the most popular. They did it with 2 pictures that keep, well, I'm spoiling the surprise. Watch this. When I click over to 1-year sales history, anybody know how to read that graph and know what that means? That means when they're in stock, they're firing off some units. And they run out of stock. That's a great problem. Because if these dummies at Sourpuss keep running out of their best seller throughout the year, we can fix that. I can buy these little 18-inch black coffin shelves and sell those till the cows come home. Right? Everybody agreed this is a cool product idea? Like every indicator is everybody's going, oh, like, I need one of those. I need a coffin shelf. Like, this is the holy grail of private label. It has demand, low competition. It's not in so much demand that it's at the top of my triangle where everybody sees it. And look, all time. How far back does that go? October of 2017, we're at 2 years, and guess what? The trend is solid. You know what that means? This thing was just as in demand 2 years ago as it is now. This hasn't changed. Why has nobody jumped on this? Because the software hasn't found it, and it's that Cessna. It's flying below the radar where nobody knows about it. How did we find it? We took our asses off of Amazon, started looking at random Pinterest stuff for sugar skulls, let Amazon tell us what other keywords indexed for it, and we start finding these holy grails. Right?
Yes. You have to get to a point now where you wouldn't have to go in and do your own PPC testing with your own dodgy product. Now, you look at this and go, this one I can skip that step? Or
no, heck no.
No.
Because what if this something different jabron is trying to capitalize on the market? He's an idiot, right? He's got like 3 1-star reviews, but what if he's trying to crush this? How are we going to find that out?
He's not a sponsored advert, so...
That is an exception. But if there was, we'd want to know his cost per click. And 1,500 searches a month is estimated. What if it's wrong? Like 1,500 isn't a ton. Now I know I can stack up other keywords and probably get that up to 3,000. But what if that estimate's wrong? if it's off by 30%, that sucks, right? Now it could be low 30%, it could be high 30%, but I want to know for sure. And this product, another little tip. Who uses Alibaba for product research? You're all going to now. How do Alibaba sellers operate? What's their mode of operation? How do they work? They operate exactly like we do. They find a product that's in demand with low competition. How do they track demand? They find out how many people are searching in this same search bar. Like, it's exactly the same as Amazon. So if I'm an Alibaba seller, what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out what people are looking for, and I'm going to offer up for sale. Sounds pretty basic, right? This is a great way to check potential saturation, because what if 500,000 people have found this coffin box opportunity, and I tested it, and I want to buy this thing. Coffin shelf. Can I get another one of those? Woo! Woo! Why am I wooing?
One of those?
I typed coffin shelf and it's not on here either. What does that mean? That means when I look at that all-time historical data over, at least 2 years, consistent sales whenever they don't stock out because they're freaking dummies, right? Nobody on Alibaba's tracked that. That means no other private label sellers are going to Alibaba looking for it. Because if we were going and looking for it enough, they would track it and they'd post it for sale.
Exclusive.
Right? Yes! Like, holy grail! This is amazing! What's another thing that's cool about this? 99% of our competition are lazy. They are. They or they're not lazy, they're uneducated. They're naive. They're following the same bullcrap Kevin David courses that everybody else is following, which says, find a product, go to Alibaba. What happens if you go to Alibaba and you can't find it? You give up. I don't know what to do after that. Like, now what? I don't know. Let's give up and find a new product that's already saturated, right? This is one of those moats. This is one of those barriers to entry. Holy grail product right here, right? Let's review. How did I come up with this product? I looked at sugar skulls, trending. I went to Pinterest. I went to Amazon. I did some, came up with, from Pinterest, I went to like Gothic decor is trending. Typed in Gothic decor in Amazon. Figured out what Amazon is connecting to Gothic decor by their indexing. And I find this random keyword coffin shelf and go, what the crap is that? Pull up the page and there's no competition there. Right? Done. Simple. Find a keyword, validate it, make sure there's no competition, test it, you're home free. And remember we were talking about that 6-month death gap? No 6-month death gap here. These freaking sourpuss guys have been doing this for 2 years and no one even knows about it. It's like there's not 8 containers of these things. Well, now there might be because I've been talking about this for 2 months, but
What is their turnover actually? I cannot see.
The what?
What is the revenue on this?
I don't know because they're consistently out of stock, so it's not really a good number.
No, I can't see it.
And also keep this in mind. I don't care about revenue.
Yeah?
I don't. Because even if people are typing coffin shelf and they show up to Sourpuss's listing and they've got just a few reviews and their pictures suck, like how would you do this better? I'd put stuff in it. Like watch this. For my pictures? Huh. Holy crap, Amazon's giving some more information. What are people using these for? These are just the reviews. I love this title. I dig it like a grave. That's awesome. So read this review. I've been wanting to purchase a coffin shelf ever since Sourpuss first released them on the website. Somebody's on Sourpuss's website digging around. I decided to get one on Amazon. I'm in love. It's well built. Blah, 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 blah. They put Funko toys in it. This guy couldn't be happier. It gave my vanity a vampy feel. That's what it is. This shelf is perfect for displaying small figures and spooky collectibles. I love this little shelf. It's great for small items. Great shelf, cute. Smelled a little weird upon opening. Now check this guy out.
This is what you want when you buy coffee.
Yeah. Check this picture out. This dude's hanging on the wall.
Yeah, of course.
So what's this telling me? I want the bottom of this pyramid. Even the reviews are telling me a million ways that I can attach stuff, like Funko shelf. People put their Funko stuff, little bobblehead thingy, not bobblehead, you know what I'm talking about. Like, the deeper I dig into this stupid coffee shelf, like the more excited I get about it being a potential product.
Me too.
Yeah, but guys, I'm not lying to you. Like, how many people in this industry are going to stand up in front of a crowd and show you good products? There's not many. Now, maybe I'm just a complete dummy. There's a lot of people that say I am. But the reason I don't mind sharing this is we find these constantly. Like, there are tons of these. There's mountains of these because the method works. Yes?
Just based on experience, seems that for the 2 years this black color is constantly out of stock. Why the seller don't want to
He's asking, if consistently out of stock for the past 2 years, why is the seller not keeping in stock? Heck, I don't know. I have no idea where they're not in stock. Well, okay, here we go. Sourpuss. Coffee. Let's find out.
Usually based on experience based on the other product.
Sourpuss clothing. No, I don't want to be in a mailing list. Weird stuff. Woo! Alright, so Sourpuss Clothing. So obviously they're a clothing company, right? So it looks like they sell some accessories. What's new? And hey guys, I would spend an hour on this website and see what's new. Because they're hitting home runs and don't even know it. Like, they probably have some other cool stuff too. But let's go to housewares, bathroom, bedroom, kitchen and bar. What are you selling kitchen and bar? So to me it looks like they're just all over the place on their products. They're just not even paying attention. But their bread and butter is obviously clothing. So they just happen to get this coffin box and they're probably like, whenever we get another container out of that one city that it's near, go ahead and throw a pallet on. Like, they don't care. They probably have no clue that this is a great product. Probably don't have a clue, right? They're doing it with a crappy listing. All right, so quick review. Find a keyword. We talked about the different ways to do that. Pinterest, Etsy, life hack blogs. I showed you my invention from a life hack blog that sucked. Why did it suck? Because I didn't go through the validation stage and make sure there's demand. So identify the keyword, make sure there's demand, check for low competition, test. Then we come up, well, I was about to point, come up with this. No, that's not what we come up with. We come up with this. Right? Everybody good with that? You excited? We got 10 more minutes. You want to see another one? Yes. All right, so full disclosure here. None of you launched the coffin box, and none of you launched this next one because of, so we talked about Helium 10, right? I would say arguably the #1 software tool in the entire Amazon industry. They actually have more active users than Jungle Scout now. Top of their game. Of all of the people in the world that they could have worked with on a case study, guess who they called? This guy. So I've been filming, we haven't really publicly announced, I've been filming in their office for like 2 months. And 2 of the products that we've actually launched or are launching for the case study is this coffin shelf and the next product I'm about to show you.
Okay.
So what does that mean? I'm showing you now largely because it's going to be public anyways, but there's going to be 100,000 jabronis try to launch these products in the next 3 months. Alright? Don't do it! Alright? I promise you'll get smashed. So let me show you just a little different variation to show you that keywords matter and that keywords you can sell a product that could be saturated. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit, but check this out. This is the power of Pinterest. Who wants to sell an egg tray? $15, $7, $6, $9, $9. Like, this sucks, right? This is obviously a saturated product. Anybody disagree with that? So I'm going to hit, remember magnet is where I type in a search term just to check search volume. An egg tray, I suspect, it's going to have a pretty significant amount of search volume, right? Pretty common product, at least in the States. So this is wrong. It's much higher than 13. This is, remember I told you we got to test because some things are weird. When I checked this a couple days ago, it was actually about 14,000. A lot higher. So as I'm cruising down through here, I have this thought. And the thought is egg tray, super saturated. Well, let's just say this. Let's say for all intents and purposes, it only is $1,300 a month. All right? It's an even better example. $1,300 a month. And look at all these listings. Do we want to sell an egg tray? No. But, watch this. Let me do this one more time. Get a good visual of what we're looking at on the page. All right? A bunch of plastic, a bunch of ceramic, a bunch of the same things, right? Amazon is buyer intent focused, meaning it's what people have to buy. Pinterest is
What they desire.
what they want. Thank you. Come on, everybody knows that. Let's try that again. Pinterest is
What they want.
what they want. All right. So check this out. Exact same keyword. Egg tray. Who sees it? Nobody? Speak up.
Wooden.
Amazon was a bunch of cheap plastic crap. Pinterest, #5 search engine in the English language. Look at all these results for that wooden egg tray. Pretty amazing, right? So even if a keyword is super saturated, sometimes when we get off of Amazon and start looking at places like Pinterest and Etsy, we can figure out instantly like super, super opportunity. And remember we were talking about needing to buy some? Hey, I need a few to test. Should be easy. Okay. So remember, it doesn't even have to be big. All you gotta do is match the keywords. So come in here and find the cheapest egg tray you can. You know what's crazy? Look at the prices of those. People are paying a freaking arm and a leg for these things. So everybody else is selling a $12 or $14 egg tray on Amazon. I'm gonna pop a wooden one on there. We're gonna sell it for $25. And I just had 1,000 of them made in China for this case study that we're doing. My cost on them, $1.75 for an 18-hole egg tray. So even if I had to keep the same price on the plastic ones at $14, I'm still profiting, right? But I'm gonna jack that sucker up to $25 or $29. And I'm gonna crush everybody. So even though the term egg tray is saturated, we know people want to buy a wooden one because of Pinterest. I'm just gonna run a PPC ad for egg tray. I don't care if I have to bid $1, my profit margin will be so huge. Enough people buying that thing, now I'm the only wood egg tray on page 1 or page 2 pretty quick. Right? How did I find this? Anybody have any idea? Blogs. I'm going on blogs for kitchen accessories, and guess what kept coming up? These egg accessories. Because, so I was walking around, what is this, Fort Banning Park or whatever? That I told you I was walking around? Is that the name of it?
Fort Canning.
Fort Canning. Same thing. That's what I said. Fort Canning Park. I don't know if this is unusual or not. There's chickens running around. Do you guys just normally have chickens running around Singapore? All right, in the U.S. we don't. Except for all these yuppie, hippie yokels that now have started raising chickens in their backyard. So like I'm in a nice neighborhood, and one of my neighbors got a chicken coop and put 3 of these loud, annoying chickens and waking everyone up. And why? Because, no, I'm an exception because I'm not a perfect example of health. But like everyone in the U.S. is trying to get healthy, right? And organic and like the free-range, grass-fed unicorn. You know, whatever. So these people are raising their own chickens to raise their own eggs, and they're going out and they feel cool and all that stuff. So what happens is all these people are going out to get eggs, and they need a place to put them. That's all it was. We started like just looking at blogs and like Reddit for kitchen accessories, and we saw this egg stuff pop up. We're like, what the crap? People buying egg stuff? Egg Skelter? Check this thing out. This thing blew up on Amazon about 2 months ago. And we've been looking at it for a year. Egg Skelter. So you don't go to the grocery store and buy these you know, eggs in a tray. You got to have like a cool little thing to put them on your kitchen counter. All your friends know that you're the egg guy. Because you have to display your eggs. So, which usually in the US you get arrested for that. You don't display your eggs. It's a joke, guys. It's funny. So, but how do we find this? Literally just blogs, like the exact same things I'm showing you. Right? Now you want to see a bad example of using software?
But the wooden egg holders is not saturated yet on Amazon then?
It's the, no, it's
still
not a wooden egg holder, it's just an egg holder.
Yeah.
But we know everybody wants wood. So because we found, like this is a little different variation I'm talking about, but we looked at Pinterest, see they want wood, I should be the only wooden one on page 1 for egg tray.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Crazy. And if I'm not, I'll run a PPC ad on it. So when they pop up, it's the #1 thing, and it's different than everything else on that page, and we know based on Pinterest, people want the wood ones. Click, buy, right? Check this out.
But this is under the radar now, but could be picked up quite soon or not? Like
yeah, you got to be a little bit careful of searches.
Well,
I know, leave me alone. Yeah, so if I'm targeting egg tray, I got to be careful not to go too big too fast, because then I'm up there in like jumbo jet land.
Oh, yeah.
Right, you got to be a little careful. All right.
But as a first-time seller and be having it sold for already a couple of months, you cannot stay on the #1 position by doing great marketing and just staying on top.
As long as you pick the right product, yeah. It's all about product selection, demand, competition. So even though I'd be selling an egg tray, I've got a wooden one, and the demand is for a wooden one because Pinterest told us that.
Yeah.
So the demand is for a wooden one. Nobody else is offering it.
But now everybody jumps on it, and then you cannot stay on a high position.
But the thing is, the software's still not going to show it. Right? Because they're gonna pull up all the sales revenue on egg tray and see that the majority of it's all this other stuff. And who's this guy with the wooden one, right? And I might even intentionally stay off of egg tray. I might be like farm fresh egg trays and like chicken growing accessories and like I'm hitting the bottom of the pyramid stuff, right? But I'm on page 1 for all that and nobody ever notices. So check out the search volume on this bad boy. 34,000 hippie Americans a month are looking for a tortilla blanket. I don't know why, like tacos are so popular right now, like all these young girls walking around with the shirts that say Taco Tuesday. I eat tacos every day, what are you talking about? But, probably 3 months ago when I found this, you see the IQ, we were talking about the IQ score earlier, right? The IQ score on this 3 months ago was 85,000. So Helium 10 was saying, oh, look at all these people that want a tortilla blanket. But when you went to Amazon, you typed tortilla blanket, there was only 3 sellers. Look at it now. And you know why I didn't go for it? 1, 34,000 searches, I know it's going to be covered up. Right, I just knew it was. But the other indicator I went to, good old Alibaba. Tortilla shelf, that's not it. Getting my keywords mixed up. So even when there's only 3 tortilla blankets on Amazon with 34,000 searches a month, when I went to Alibaba, there was over 140 listings for a tortilla blanket. Now that one looks good right there. Look at that bad boy, chocolate chip cookie. Until it's dinner time. Right? What? That is it's a green tortilla. Right? So you guys get what I'm saying. Like, just because the high volume numbers and the IQ score is screaming good product, stay away from it. Because if it's high, I knew it was going to happen. 3 months later, there's like 500 listings for tortilla blankets now. Stay under the radar, cruise down there where your cost per click is low, it's easy to find these products. Get 20 or 30 products running on Amazon that all sells you 5 to 10 units a day, and you're going to cruise along like double sourpuss for the next 2 years and no one's ever going to see what you're doing. Cool? Are we out of time?
Yeah.
Woo! Alright. Do you want to take like, I feel like we've answered a lot of questions, right? Are there any like,
Are there any questions?
Are there any like glaring, like looming, like you can't walk out of this room until you ask this question questions?
Do you actually focus on one product range or just a category or like just based on the research and then find?
He's asking if I focus on like one category?
Yeah, one
Heck no. Can I use my whiteboard again? This is how I feel about products. I do not care what the brand name is for now. I don't care if it's like related. When I'm running these rabbit trails, I'm going to find all sorts of stuff. So here's my order. I find all these little products. This is an egg tray, a coffin shelf, a tortilla blanket. Well, don't do the tortilla blanket. But like all these different products, right? They could all be random. Everyone can be in a different category. I don't care, but they're all making me money. Now, I know everybody's thinking, what about my Shopify site? What about my trademark? What about my brand? It's coming. But I don't make it happen. I let it happen. So you remember I told you I have a shoe accessory that I sell. It's for women's boots. Dumbest thing you ever seen. Been selling it for 5 years. Sitting right here making me money. But I have never found another profitable shoe accessory. I haven't. So it just sits there by itself. I can say that about a lot of products. But occasionally, I'll sell this product, which leads me to this product, which leads me to this product. That could be like the egg stuff. I find the egg tray, then I find the egg skelter, then I find an incubator, then I find nesting pads. Can you guys tell I've done some research on egg stuff? Like I can go through 15 different products. And if they just organically happen easily, and I start stacking those up in a category, this is what I start to call a catalog. Catalogs have to happen naturally. Because if I have one product that I'm emotionally tied to, and I'm like, I want a brand of shoe accessories. Who cares? Because if you can't find other products that are profitable, you're not going to make any money. But if they keep stacking up and I look back in 6 months and go, dang, I got 6 egg products. That's kind of cool. Now I'm getting a product catalog. This is when I start thinking about brand, but only at this point. I know a lot of people, and some of you have done it. I'm not saying it's like terrible. I'm just saying don't do it again. You have one product and you don't get a trademark. All right? Trademarks are category related. I once was selling golf cart accessories. Sold a lot of them. Went to get a trademark, and I tried to get it trademarked for automotive accessories. I tried to like go up a level where it would cross like this whole thing. They squashed me. I waited 9 months, paid like $1,000. I said, no, you got to categorize down. I literally had to go sports and outdoors vehicle accessories. Okay? So if I'm going to spend $1,000 in 9 months for all these one, how am I going to do that, right? Wait till you've actually got something that's worth doing. Once I get a catalog, then I think brand, then I think trademark, then I think Shopify site or something like that, right? Because how many of you have a Shopify site right now? And everybody's like, I'm not saying anything. All right. How many products are on your Shopify site?
1.
Dead burn! How is your Shopify site doing right now?
Just started.
It's, all right. It's going to do horribly. It is. Because Shopify doesn't like one product. It doesn't. We don't like going to a website, one product. If I go to timschickenstuff.com and there's one product on there, like how legitimate does that look? Right? It looks a little bit hokey, and I promise I'm not criticizing you. I'm sorry. I get it. Like, I'm sorry. But I don't know what to say. But and the reason we do that is everybody says you got to have a website. You got to get. But unless you get this, there's really no point. Because nobody's going to go to it anyways. Or no one's going to buy from it anyways. And with Shopify and stuff like that, you have to drive your own traffic. It's not free. That's why we love Amazon. Whoop, whoop, because they like drive the traffic for us. They have like 300 million users that are coming to it looking for something. If I have a Shopify site for Tim's Chicken Stuff, no one knows about it. So if I'm going to pay for traffic through influencers or bloggers or paid traffic, I want them to see more than one thing. I've got Shopify sites right now. And you know what? It's got a bunch of products on it. Because when I have one person land on it, they might buy 15 different things. Right? So I'm not even messing with it until I get to this point. So right now, don't focus on a brand. If you have one product, don't focus on a catalog. Keep stacking these things up. So to your question, am I focusing on a category, a product, a category, or a niche? No. I'm running this way as far as I can. I broke the marker for now. And then let these things organically, naturally happen, and I go from there. Make sense? There's some other questions. I think, yeah.
Why do you not use viral launch?
Why do I not use viral launch? Because they pissed me off. And what they did was they started giving that indicator score. And I have talked to Casey a million times. Said, Casey, what's your algorithm? He's like, well, we have search, competition, sales. I'm like, stop! Why are you doing that, Casey? Like, if a software tool is using existing sales as part of the algorithm to indicate that it's a good product for us to sell, I have a problem with that. Right? Because we're on that other cliff with everybody else. So any of these tools that have, like, now I'll say this, Viral Launch's search is pretty good. They've got their PPC tool that just came out. Looks like it has good potential. But I don't like a product that sells itself as an easy solution. I don't like that Casey has that Facebook video of himself walking around his office saying, we'll tell you exactly what product to sell on Amazon. I hate that because people are doing it. and they're dropping $30,000 or $40,000 that they don't really have on a container of the same bull crap that 50 other people are selling on Amazon. That's why I got a problem with Jumbo Scout. It pisses me off. They know it. Like Greg and I have talked about this. He knows it, but he sells so much software doing it. That's why I love. I'm not talking about Helium 10 because I'm buddies with them. I'm buddies with them because I respect them, because when the CPR method stopped working, they said, whoa guys, I probably wouldn't do that anymore. Like they'll say, hey, we're trying to figure out this IQ score. The IQ score is cool because sometimes something will pop up as a quick indicator, but they're like, don't launch something versus the IQ score, right? So Viral Launch does have some good potential. They have some good tools. As an overall suite, don't trust it, right? Can you tell I'm passionate about that? All right, I think you were next.
Yeah. So like for example, now for you to find that tortilla wraps and then the other one, the coffin box, right? That step, you're basically just scouting around at your marketplace, you're walking around on the blogs and
Getting around, yeah, I'm just cruising, man. I'm just like, and it's fun. I mean, it's way better than going to Amazon and typing in the search box and see what auto-populates. It sucks. Just look for the random stuff, you know? Yeah, go.
How do you deal with the US
The tariffs, listen, the tariffs have not stopped me whatsoever. Why is that? Because my margins are so high, it doesn't matter. Because I'm buying a $3 coffin box and selling it for $30. So I know the tariffs are scary. Now I'll give you what I know to be true, and I'll give you what I think to be true. Okay? What I know to be true is this. When you have a product where your margins are so high, it doesn't matter. If you jump from 10 to 25%, who cares? If it's a $3 item, that means you're paying 40 more cents a unit. It doesn't stop you. But it's kind of cool because all these other people that are getting scared to death of the trade war are dropping off. We're losing some of our competition, right? Where I see problems with the trade war are these people that are selling all the saturated stuff and their margins are so low that when they go from 10 to 15%, it kills their business. And they're on Facebook spouting off and they're all angry and mad and, oh, the trade war killed my product. Like, no, you killed your product because you're selling a stupid product that you're only making 3% on anyways. Why are you doing that? You know what I mean? So that's what I know to be true, is that there are so many products with so much margin that we can absorb it. Now here's what I think to be true. All right? And I can get myself in trouble here, but I'm a pretty honest guy if you guys can't tell. I don't care what you think about Trump politically. I don't. But there is no doubt that Trump is a savvy businessman. Okay? He is. He knows that 90% of America was built in China. Like, that's just where products from the world come from. He also knows that he's not very popular right now. He's pissed a lot of people off. But when it comes to his next re-election, how is he going to get re-elected? He's going to get re-elected based on economic strength. Okay? Economic strength right now is huge. There's a little downturn 2 days ago with that inversion of the bond market. That's all fluff. But right now, the stock market in the U.S. is crushing it. That's why he's probably going to get re-elected, to be honest. He knows that if he crushes trade with China, it's bad for the economy. Okay? So what he's doing is he's sticking his chest out, trying to fight a little bit, stand his ground, so to speak, to a certain point, but he won't let things get too bad. He won't. This is just what I think. Because it would be suicide. Because if this trade war continues and it keeps getting worse and worse and worse, it'll crush our economy, it'll crush China's economy, which in turn will crush global economy. Right? So I think that he's going to toe the line for a little while, but I don't think it's going to be that bad. Now another thing that's really cool, I think that it will back off. If any of you go to the US HTS code website where the tariffs are all listed, when the US government and CBP and all those guys change tariff codes, they actually change the numbers. So they go in and from 7% to 10%. With the trade war, they haven't done that. They've left the code where it is and put this little number or this little slash beside it. And that slash means add 20% or add 15%. Like even on the website, it's temporary, right? So maybe I'm just wishful thinking. Maybe I'm just got my head in the clouds. I don't think it's going to last forever because, like I said, no matter what you think about Trump, personally, politically, whatever, he's not done when it comes to business. And I don't think he's going to let this trade war crush stuff. Even if he doubles tariffs from 10 to 20 or 25 to 50%, there's still plenty of opportunities for us. Here's another cool thing about the trade war. It's scaring the crap out of these Chinese manufacturers. It is. This past week I met with 2 big Amazon sellers that are Chinese, and both of them are like, Tim, find us a partner. What do you mean? They're like, we had to compete with low price. We had to. So the only way we could succeed is be 20% less than our competitors, because our listings sucked, our pictures sucked, we had these crazy, brand names, we have this black hat stuff, so we're always getting like cut off. They're like, now that the tariffs have killed the little bit of margin advantage that we had, like, we can't compete anymore because we had to bump our prices up a little bit. So they're literally coming at guys like me and saying, let's partner together. You write the listings, you do the sales, you do the photography, you do the PPC, we'll just give you all the products you want. So they're starting to panic a little bit too, which to me is an opportunity, right? If our competitors are panicking, like, I'm excited, right? So I think that there's some pros and cons, but honest to goodness, like when all the trade war stuff started hitting 6 months ago, we did not change our ordering. There was even like 7 or 8 products that we decided to order 2.5 months ago that we'd never even launched before, and we made the decision, we're like, we could try to source these elsewhere, but let's just pull the trigger on it. Let's go ahead and order them, even though we know the tariffs can go from 5 to 20% on these products, because we knew there was so much margin we could absorb it. All right, what else? Do you have one?
Have you had the chance to use Helium 10's new PPC tool?
No, and very few people have.
Yeah.
I actually don't think anybody has. I think Marcus, he was with Six Leaf, and now he's the product manager for it. I actually think he's the only one that's ever used it. They announced it, and the reason they announced it was Viral Launch announced theirs the same day, so they went ahead and jumped ahead, but it's not even available yet. The first people that are going to have access are the Helium 10 Elite members, but that's still not open yet, so it's coming.
For every product launches you have, how much do you budget for the PPC and all the preparations? Because you have a lot of product launches.
Yeah, it varies, but it's pretty cheap. I have not done a giveaway. I have not done a rebate. I have not done any of that stuff in like a year and a half. Haven't needed to, because when I get on, when I get on page 1 for Coffin Box and just cruise along with nothing, when I can do grass backdrop and you don't have to do those launches. It's easy. Now for PPC, I've got 3 ways of doing PPC. I've got my test campaign, which is this crazy abstract bullcrap that you guys have never seen before, and you probably think I'm a little bit crazy. I've got a launch campaign where I'm extremely aggressive, and usually after about 45 days, I'm done with that, and I drop to my operational campaign, which is super cheap. Operational campaign is the only time I turn on auto campaigns, by the way. Up until the operational, I know, and the only auto campaigns I do, I negative out the keywords that I'm manually running, and I just turn on 10-cent bids and let Amazon just go through and find these other keyword opportunities. So I'm using it as a search tool, because remember, Amazon's trying to connect the dots. So sometimes, every 30 days I'll download a PPC report for an auto campaign, and there'll be like a golden nugget keyword. I'll go, okay, cool, and then slide that into my manual listing, bump the bid up. So that's the only reason I ever do autos.
But you will run PPC the full time, right?
Not all the time. If I launch these coffee, and I told you these case studies, like, it's coming. You'll actually see this in the next 30 days. When I do launch the Coffin Box case study, you'll see me run an ad on it to get me to page 1. And eventually what will happen is I'll have an ad and my listing side by side. Don't do that. I was doing some consulting for the largest manufacturer in the US of Halloween costumes. They have the license for all the Harry Potter stuff. The exclusive license. So like the Gryffindor neckties and like all that stuff. So when I would go in, I was in their office and I was in the search tool of Amazon typing Gryffindor necktie. They're the only one that's allowed to sell them. They had a sponsored ad and the organic ad. I looked at their cost their cost for that keyword click over a month. It was like $652 because people click that ad first. I'm like, hey dummy, why are you running an ad when you're already the first result? Like, this is the stupidest. And they're like, oh, I hadn't thought about that, right? So when I wouldn't run an ad, it was I'm already where I want to be. Now, the exception to that is maybe you're where you want to be because you had some of that ad going, so you might have to kill the ad, and every once in a while if you start slipping a little bit, bump it back up. Or, especially if you have like brand registry and can do like specific targeting, drop that ad somewhere else. So put that ad like specifically on a page 2 or on an ASIN targeted ad or on a like a checkout page ad, so you're just getting enough traffic that it's still keeping you organic there at the top without sticking the 2 side by side. Because everybody's going to click the sponsored ad. It's going to happen, right?
Okay, we have time for maybe 2 more questions.
You get to be the czar. You get to be the question czar now, because I'll
Yeah.
just keep answering. Is she up?
Yeah, 2
All
more.
right.
What will you do if you find a potential keyword but are unable to source from those sourcing sites?
Get really creative. And that happens sometimes, but not usually. The problem with, in what she asked is like, I found a great product idea, but I can't find it sourced. Anything can be made. Anything. And the truth is, if I found it, it's already been made. Like somebody out there has made it. I might have to get a larger MOQ. This might be like a specialized product that I gotta buy 8,000 of. So it might be out of my reach for, you know, what I want to do, which is not spend $100,000 on my first launch. Generally it doesn't happen, because generally stuff we're looking for is pretty easy to produce. So it's pretty rare. Where we do have a problem is test. Like the coffin boxes that weren't on Alibaba. So, you know what we did to test the coffin boxes? We bought 10 of the purple ones from Sourpuss. I spray painted them black. And I put a little sugar skull sticker on the back of them, which made it a unique product, which meant I could create a unique ASIN and a unique listing. It worked. We ran the test. When we do that case study, when it launched public, you'll see it. So I can get creative when it comes to testing. But when it came to actually launching the product, we actually tried to find Sourpuss's supplier and couldn't find it. We even used like Import Genius and all that stuff and couldn't find it. So we just sent the pictures and found another factory. Bought a sample of Sourpuss's, shipped it to China, said make this. They did. Sourpuss is gonna hate me.
Yeah, oh yeah, right.
They don't know who I am. When this thing drops and 300,000 people see this case study, they're gonna mail me anthrax in the mail.
Okay, one last question.
Can I ask you how you source for a good VA?
Woo! That's a tough one. Cover a lot of ground. We have to hire 8 to find a good one. We just do. So you have to be slow to hire and fast to fire. Because VAs right now, especially in the Philippines, have amazing resumes. Like, they're professional resume builders. And most of it's not true. We even do stuff like, we use onlinejobs.ph. Do you guys use that website? Because we like actually hiring them as employees, not using an agency like FreeUp or anything like that. We do stuff like to help whittle down our options by hiding Easter eggs in our job listings. So if we have like a 2-page job listing, like towards the bottom in one of the paragraphs, we'll put the sentence, when you apply for this job, put the word unicorn in the subject of your response. If we get a response that doesn't have the word unicorn in it, delete, 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 because we know they're not reading the whole thing. So we like do a few things to filter out to make sure we're getting people that are actually paying attention and want this job, right? And then we just interview a lot, and we usually, if we have one position, we hire 2 people. And we don't tell them that they're both working the same jobs, and we'll give them the same task, see who does a better job, and then usually chunk the one that was bad. And usually the one that, if they're both good, we'll keep them both. But usually one of them's gonna flake out in 3 or 4 days anyways. So VAs are tough, and we figured out, so far we have not been able to make, or to successfully hire VAs that are creative and connect those dots. They're data entry, they're customer service, right? We can't completely automate the process like we were talking about earlier. But really, that's a horrible answer because I don't have one. The truth is, you have to try a lot before you find a good one. That's just all there is to it. Is that it?
That's it.
Woo! Oh yeah, all right, so I'm Tim with Private Label Legion Hickory Flats. All right, all right. Hey, my name's Tim Jordan from Ping Pong. All right, so what happened is Ping Pong, I've had a lot of job offers and I've turned them all down because I have all this stuff going on. Ping Pong and I have a cool relationship because I think they're an amazing company. Everybody familiar with who Ping Pong is? Global transfers, you guys know Payoneer, World First, all that stuff. Ping Pong is actually like the 3rd biggest in the world now, mostly in China. Just in the past 2 years, done like $14 billion in money transfers. It's huge. And we're resetting the company right now to start not just operating in China, but operating outside of China, like for you guys. So the position they hired me at is executive strategist, which means I get to work whenever I want, as little as I want, but I get to be like the idea guy. And what I did was I was coming here and I'm like, hey, do you guys want to pay for dinner? They're like, yeah, pay for dinner. So they paid for the venue, paid for dinner, just for me to ask these questions, all right? Ping Pong is not set up in Singapore right now. We don't have a licensure yet. But what we want to know is, what are the biggest problems you're having in money transfers and getting your payments from Amazon platform. I want to know that. I want to know who you're using and what the biggest problem with that service is, because since we're starting from ground zero specifically for Singapore, I get to help build the system exactly tailored to what you guys need, which is really cool. Right? I talked to some of you earlier today. We were talking about, like, I'm bringing it because as we get the licensure specifically in Singapore, you know, we've got a whole office that's managing Southeast Asia. We just launched Hong Kong, Vietnam, Philippines in 2 weeks. Singapore's next. So as we're eating or whatever you guys want to, maybe not we're eating because I'm kind of hungry, but like if you guys want to track me down on Facebook or anything like that, just let me know. Like if you can have the perfect payment supplier. Like who was talking about credit cards? Like in ping pong, we've been thinking like, should we do a credit card? And you were like, definitely do a credit card. So in my report, I'm saying we got to do a credit card.
Debit card.
Or debit.
Debit card. So literally, this is a chance for you guys to get in like ground floor in one of the world's biggest payment transfer companies, as we're literally building the product specifically for Singaporeans, which is kind of cool, right? And they bought you dinner, or we bought you dinner, however you want to say. So, yeah, if you have any feedback on that, just let me know, and that's it.
Cool, awesome. So how did you guys find the workshop?
Awesome.
So I guess Tim has to come back now in a couple of months and maybe do a longer workshop.
Oh gosh.
Okay guys, thank you so much. Dinner is served outside. So, you know, Tim is here. You can talk to him if you have any questions. Otherwise, you know, come outside and have a
The one out there?